Don't miss the U.S. Air Force's Shades of Blue Jazz Ensemble, February 25th through March 4th. Enjoy big band swing, patriotic favorites, and more. Get free tickets and locations at afbandtix.org. That's afbandtix.org.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores, The Chris and Amy Show.
Check it out. St. Louis, Mound City, we are going to have a great day today
On 104.1 FM.
Let's take it from the top.
KMOX.
Happy Wednesday, y'all. Or all y'all. Do people say all y'all around here? I think they could. Amy Mark Scores, Chris Ranji, good morning to you. It is a gorgeous day out there in St. Louis, and we are here to make your day even brighter.
Hotter.
Both.
Hey.
Join us on the stream if you want to watch the show on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. We're at Chris Amy KMOX. We invite you to download the Odyssey app, and you should get it because you can listen to the shows live all day, KMOX Live. That includes Cardinals baseball when the season gets started, so you can have Cardinals baseball for free right on your phone. And we want you to send us voice messages from that Odyssey app. It's really, really easy to do.
Time now for the top of the order. The top 3 stories everyone will be talking about.
Well, a measles exposure occurred at Lambert Airport recently, and now authorities are warning the public that the rest of us, may have been exposed as well. Good times.
Well, in other news, how about this weather? As Ranj brought up. You know what? I was out there running this morning. I was sweaty.
Oh.
It's warm out there.
Were you stinky also?
I was stinky and sweaty.
Sweaty and stinky. And, dang it, the Billikens last night. The slow start got to him finally. Finally, a slow start. They failed to win their 25th game of the season. They lose in Rhode Island. They had a chance late, but they weren't able to capitalize. So the Billikens have their second loss of the year.
The silver lining is I now feel a little less bad about the Stanford loss.
Well, you shouldn't. You should feel worse.
I feel better
because it'd be better if this were their first loss of the year.
I know. Technically,
yeah.
Ranj texted about the loss, and I responded. I think, is this going to hurt them at all? Like with their chances getting into the tournament? Because I always feel like I don't know exactly how people get in that tournament.
You know what? Sometimes the rest of us don't either.
I feel like I tangentially, I know how you get into the tournament, but not really. So I was a little worried. And he's right. To that end, you don't want 2 losses. But when they had their perfect season going and their one loss was kind of a fluke, it bothered me.
So here's the thing about the tournament before we move on here. I think they're still okay. I don't think they can afford 2 more losses. They might be able to afford 1. I think as far as an at-large bid goes, and that just means the committee at the end of the year decides the teams that get to be in the tournament, those that did not win their conference tournaments. And so if the Billikens aren't able to win the A10 tournament, they'll have to rely on the committee saying, you know what, you didn't win the A10 tournament, but you had a good enough season. We're putting you in the big tournament anyway. We have to rely on that.
Yeah.
I think they can afford probably 1 more loss.
Don't count on it.
I think it's 1, but I don't know. That's just my take on it. And I guess we'll find out. But Amy, this can't be right. This can't be right. I am looking at some information here, and we have measles in St. Louis.
This is so frustrating.
I'm sorry. Did you say measles?
Yeah, it is.
What year is it?
1874.
For the love of God. What? Okay. I'm sorry.
I know. It's frustrating.
It's just, this is such an unforced error. This is so unnecessary. We had it eradicated in this country. Eradicated. And because we have lunatics that are in charge of HHS, they're sowing all of this vaccine doubt. We've been getting by with vaccines for many, many years and decades. We've saved countless lives. We have saved people from severe disease, mild disease, medium disease. We have saved people from a lot of these illnesses just by getting vaccinated, and we have sowed so much doubt in them unnecessarily that now we have the freaking measles.
Yeah, and it is very frustrating. And there was always a smaller subset of anti-vaxxers.
Yeah.
And the smaller subset actually like started in California, and it was kind of more of a hippie, crunchy granola subset.
Yeah, and nobody took them seriously.
And a lot of people did not take them seriously.
Let's go back to that.
And then I know that it did a little bit of it spread to more like maybe right-wing groups. That would be the hippie, crunchy right-wing groups. Because I had heard, you talked about these people who weren't into vaccines, but it was very small and it was very fringe. But now you have the HHS secretary sowing unfounded fears and in a lot of cases lies about vaccines. And that is only going to exacerbate the situation. And we know that after RFK Jr. went to Samoa and he talked to the people there about how bad vaccines were, and there was just a horrific measles outbreak shortly after because people were not getting their kids vaccinated for vaccines. Congress actually looked into it because it was so bad. And now we know that this has been a thing. We've seen it in Texas where they had a huge outbreak of measles.
Yeah.
Well, Missouri and Illinois health officials have warned of a possible measles exposure. As you mentioned, it started at St. Louis Lambert Airport and then also a church in Collinsville. So a person with measles was in Terminal 2 and the baggage claim area between 5 and 7 p.m. on February 7th. That person then took a parking spot shuttle number 3. So parking, there's multiple shuttles, but parking spot number 3 to a parking area. So if you were in that terminal, right, they want you to monitor for symptoms for 21 days. Well, the Illinois Department of Public Health said yesterday, that the same individual with measles may have exposed people at a church in Collinsville. So the IDPH spokesperson said that the person with measles who flew into Lambert Airport lives in the Metro East. One location has been identified so far, also Good Shepherd Lutheran Church in Collinsville. And that was people attending services there between 8 a.m. and 12:15 p.m. on February 8th. But the spread rate of measles is so high.
It's like 90%.
Yes. That if you're exposed and the droplets can hang in the air for hours, it is one of the most contagious diseases that we know of.
So that's the frustrating thing about it is that it was kind of like, if you remember the early days of COVID, there were people who were testing positive for it that didn't really show any symptoms. What's frustrating about this is it's not like the flu where it takes a couple of days, maybe 3 after being exposed to it, and then you start to feel the symptoms of it. If it can hang there for like at minimum 7 days before you feel anything, and at worst 3 weeks, it could be 3 weeks before you start to present. That's really difficult to navigate because you just don't know. And so I know people are going to ask the question, well, if you're vaccinated, what are you worried about? Yeah, I mean, that's true. Your likelihood of getting this disease is much, much lower if you are vaccinated, but vaccines are not 100% fail-safe. The thing that is a fail-safe is if it's completely eradicated, where it's got nowhere to go because everybody is vaccinated, which is how things have been for decades up until like the last few years.
Well, and it's also for kids because you can't get the full MMR until you're like for babies until a certain month. I don't know if it's like 12 months or 14 months, but you can't get MMR when you're very, very little. And measles is so contagious and so dangerous for babies. So yes, even though the vaccinated, if you've gotten the double dose, the 2 doses of MMR is 97% effective. 1 dose is 93% effective.
Right.
Yes, you're most likely protected, but you're also protecting the babies and the toddlers who can't get it until a certain age. And it's funny because when I heard this story, I thought, oh my gosh, this is so frustrating. I'm like, I know I had MMR, but you know how every millennial has to call their mom. Every millennial calls their mom with doctor questions. So I texted my mom. I said, hey, I got the MMR, right? She's like, yes. But then also, I don't think they started doing the measles vaccine until 71. My mom was born before 71. And so I I was like, well, wait a minute. Did you get the measles vaccine? She said, yes. When I was pregnant with your sister, like what they would do to catch up the parents who hadn't been vaccinated is it's something like when you're pregnant and then you get the second dose after you're pregnant. I forgot exactly the timeline, but she got it. She got it. That's what they do with pregnant mothers. Because, of course, if you're born before 71, you didn't get it as a kid. So she's vaccinated. And I'm like, okay, just checking up on everyone. And like I said, I knew I had MMR. I knew it. But you know how you kind of like, wait. And then you're Googling, am I still okay? It was in the 80s. Am I still okay?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the thing is that when something is 97% effective, that's really good. Nothing is 100%. So 97% is really good. Well, think of it like this. If you have, if you take 100 shots, and I'm talking like basketball shots, right? You're at the free throw line and you only make 3 of them out of 100. You're still making 3 of them, which means that's 3 buckets. That's 3 infections that we're talking about. So yeah, it's not 100% effective, but if you're not really exposed to other people who have measles because they are also protected, then you're protected. And now when you have told people don't get these vaccines, they're going to cause autism, they're causing all these trouble, all these other problems, they're going to kill you, then people are going to say, well, I'm not going to get vaccinated. I'm not going to have my child get vaccinated. And then all that does is increase the risk for everybody else. So
Kevin watching on YouTube says if the infected person is older than 1, then it's not due to RFK. I'm going to deal with that part of his point first. You're right. If you are older than 1, like we said, there were some anti-vax sentiments before that. But I am less concerned about the adults who are vaccinated and more concerned about now people who are having babies who have not gotten little kids vaccinated, babies vaccinated, because of the growing sentiment of anti-vaccine. And it's only just sowing more confusion in parents' minds, because it's a confusing time anyway, especially if you're having parents and you have someone at the secretary of the HHS telling you that your child could get autism and this could be terrible for them. That's a confusing thing for a parent to hear. But again, I'm not worried about me. I got the MMR. I'm worried about the babies out there who either aren't vaccinated or who can't get vaccinated, because the way MMR works is you usually get the first dose between 12 and 15 months, and you get the second at 4 to 6 years old. That's the one I remember. I remember getting the second one because it was kind of like, I thought it was a 3-needle shot, but I could be wrong.
Well, also to add to this response here to Kevin, it's not just the last year, it's the last 5 years, because this anti-vaccine thing really, really picked up during COVID. And what we've done is we have culminated in then hiring somebody who is totally anti-vax as our HHS director. That's the problem with this. So RFK is a symptom, but he's also a symptom of a problem that he is exacerbating now that he's got power. He is the kind of person we used to ignore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
15 years ago, we ignore Robert F. Kennedy Jr. because we think he's a lunatic, and we're not going to listen to him. We're going to listen to smart people who know these vaccines and have worked on them or have studied them, who actually know what they are talking about. We're not talking about wellness influencers, which is basically what RFK is. He's a wellness influencer who
he's worse than that.
Well, he yes, he is.
He sniffs cocaine off of toilet seats, and he took a whale head and put it on top of his car.
Okay, so he's a crazy wellness influencer who's been given one of the most important jobs in the country. So, just get your damn vaccines, man, and have your. What I don't understand why we are here. It is super frustrating because it doesn't have to happen.
I know we're breaking, but I do want to say, and
we're breaking all right.
I understand, like, too, even with the COVID vaccine, we talked to Dr. F. Perry Wilson. He said it was totally normal to view the COVID vaccine as different and maybe have more questions because it was newer. We've had MMR for years and years and years and years and years and years. That's really frustrating.
We've also had the COVID vaccine technology for a long, long time, too.
But I'm just trying to differentiate. Like, it's okay. Like, we're not saying if you ever ask questions, about a new vaccine with your doctor, that's silly. I definitely ask questions. But with MMR, kind of like with the polio vaccine and all of those things that saved so many children's lives and have been around for decades and decades.
So we are at 10 o'clock. We are going to talk to Will Aramis, who is a technology writer for the Washington Post and just wrote a piece for the Post about autism. And these vaccines are tied in with autism because you have people like RFK who claim that vaccines are causing autism and creating the autism spike that's happened over the last 20 years in the country. He begs to differ on that. And we will talk to Will. That is coming up at 10 o'clock. This is the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
At Graybar, we know your time is money. That's why our services go beyond parts and products. With kitting, pre-assembly, wire carts, and Graybar smart reels that keep you moving. We stage materials and manage logistics so you can spend less time sorting and more time installing. And with locations nationwide, we deliver when and where you need it, working to make your job easier every step of the way. Yep, Graybar does that.
Race car drivers like NASCAR champion Jesse Love are a lot like commercial drivers, pros, but even the best watch the tape to see what they missed and get better next time. The Samsara driving coach does the same for your fleet, giving drivers real-time feedback to build safer habits. Samsara's AI uses billions of miles of real driving data to help fleets prevent accidents and protect drivers.
If it makes me a better driver, it'll make your fleet unstoppable.
Because even champions need a coach. Learn more at Samsara.com.
What's up, world? It's Von Miller, Super Bowl MVP, chicken farmer, and now host of Free Range. This is a show where I go off the field and off the script. We're talking what's hot in music, film, trending news, and everything blowing up your feed. If you love football, you'll feel at home. But if you're here for the vibes, the internet deep dives, the conversation, this is your podcast. Join me every Wednesday. Follow and listen to Free Range with me, Von Miller, everywhere you get your podcast.
Are you struggling with hearing loss? Do friends and family complain that your TV is too loud? Are you tired of asking people to repeat themselves? If you want to hear clearly again, but don't want a bulky hearing aid that makes you look old, you need to try Atom X by Audien Hearing. The Atom X is a life-changing breakthrough, precisely designed by top audio engineers, fits comfortably in your ear, is nearly invisible, and lets you adjust your sound so you can hear conversations clearly, at home, at dinner, or on the go. And right now, you can try the Atom X risk-free for 45 days. Call Audien Hearing now at 800-295-HEAR. That's HEAR for a 45-day risk-free home trial with free shipping and money-back guarantee. The Atom X is lightweight, rechargeable, practically invisible, and costs 90% less than prescription hearing aids. Don't miss out. Call 800-295-HEAR for complete details. That's 800-295-4327. Hearing for everyone. Audien Hearing.
Make plans for the 2026 Home Expo presented by the Home Builders and Remodelers Association. Friday and Saturday from 9 to 6, Sunday 10 to 3 at Belclair Fairgrounds in Belleville. Meet experts from 175 plus booths. Enjoy hourly giveaways, live performances, and pet adoptions with Gateway Pet Guardians. Admission and parking are free, and over 10,000 people are expected to attend. Proudly sponsored by Aloha Pools, Jacob Family Enterprises, Mid-America Cabinet Refacing, McCullough Flooring, and many more. Get all the details at hbrmea.org.
Mozart's The Magic Flute comes to life in concert with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra. Under the baton of music director Stefan Deneve, hear one of Mozart's most brilliant scores performed in all its richness, with the St. Louis Symphony Chorus and St. Louis Children's Choirs bringing its unforgettable characters to life. February 20th and 22nd at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fire Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Still here, still trusted. The voice of St. Louis. KMOX.
Let me make a quick correction on our guests. We have Dr. Omari, who wrote the piece for the Washington Post on autism as an epidemic. That's coming up at 11:30. 11:30, not 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, it's Willow Ramus, who did a piece for the Washington Post. We're talking artificial intelligence with him. So if you are interested in the autism topic and what we were discussing during the last segment, it's relevant because that's what people think vaccines cause is autism.
You remember when I mentioned Kevin talking about if the person is one or not one? He also said he's watching on YouTube. Thank you.
Kevin, listener or viewer Kevin watching on YouTube.
Kevin, how many of the migrant children were unvaccinated? There was not checking. Okay, so that's the thing is you're right. When you have people coming across the border and they're not documented, it's not legal. Yeah, a lot of the people are not vaccinated because that's not mandatory or not available, or they don't have resources for it in the countries that they're coming from, which is all the more reason to be vaccinated and protect yourself and protect your kids, because it can absolutely be reintroduced. Diseases can be reintroduced through migrants who have not been vaccinated. And B, it's all the more reason to get control, of the borders and make sure. I was talking to a couple of sisters who came here, fled the Taliban, Ranj. They owned businesses. One was a skier. And because one owned a business and one was a skier, the Taliban, they were on the kill list, right? Because women can't do those things in Afghanistan. So they came here. They traveled halfway across the world. And then they had to spend a few days getting caught up on all the vaccines that are mandatory in our country. And so when we do have more control at the border and we're able to vaccinate the immigrants who come in, make sure they're all caught up, that's good. So that's a pro-vaccination argument, I think, that Kevin accidentally made.
Yeah, he did. And that's why we should streamline the process of allowing people to do the process correctly, come here and become legal immigrants, but we make it so cumbersome and impossible. That's why we have the illegal crossings at the border.
Also, we had a couple of texters ask about natural immunity, meaning, I got my immunity from the measles the old-fashioned way. I got the measles when I was 6 back in the 50s. From what I remember, it was not fun. Another texter asked, hey, back in the 50s, did kids who got measles, are they now immune? And my understanding from what I read is that, yes, if you've had measles, you have immunity. You do have immunity because, like we were saying, you didn't get the measles vaccine until the 70s. But really interesting. I don't know if you read the controversial piece in The Atlantic where Elizabeth Brunig wrote a hypothetical about how the measles can affect you. It's very, very moving. Some people were angry because they didn't like the hypothetical, but it was very sad about how measles can affect a kid. But also, you may think you've cleared the measles, cleared the virus from your body, but it can stay there and affect you
and
years later, like your brain and everything. And so it was looking through some of the medical possibilities.
And
of that.
Every disease is different. I think it's important to point that out, that the immunity for every disease is different. That just because you have immunity to one thing now does not mean that, like a flu, for example, is not going to come back and get you at some point in the future. Measles is different. Once you've had it, you have a real immunity to it for the rest of your life.
Now, you may have liked our bumper music, Ranj.
No, I did not. It's terrible. It's been terrible since 1998.
Well, this was the background, the score, if you will. This was the score of a video tweeted out by HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And it was about 90 seconds, a minute and a half. It has sharks and eagles and bears and American flag and 2 very shirtless RFK Jr. Kid Rocks.
Who made this? Was it a child?
It feels a little bit like like when you were 11 or 12 and you had the VHS camera and you'd film yourself doing stuff like, here's my dance. I'm so cool. Kind of feels like that. They're working out together. They're helping each other work out.
Which is very nice.
Robert F. Kennedy's holding Kid Rock's feet. Don't understand how so Kennedy's ripped. We can objectively admit that. I don't understand
Must be all that toilet seat coke.
Well, I don't understand how he works out in jeans.
I don't understand how he gets.
Hold on.
Forget the working out in the jeans. It's as weird as the volleyball scene in Top Gun. What's weirder is him getting into the cold tub with the jeans on.
That's unusual.
That's very unusual, unless he was trying to fit his pants, like his 501s, his Levi's 501s. But isn't that
supposed to be hot water?
Yeah, it's like warm water. I think you're supposed to get in, and then you're supposed to form fit your jeans to your body. That's the way the 501s work, because they're really stiff when you get them at first. Mm-hmm. What is he doing?
I don't know, but my favorite thing is there's no dialogue and there's no text, except for at the very end it says whole milk.
They have to be trolling us. Why do we have?
I get it. We're kind of a crunchy granola family ourselves. You know, we before there was Whole Foods, there was Wild Oats, and before there was Wild Oats, there was Golden Grocer, and we went there. We were the crunchy granola homeschool family that ate organic. So I'm not against all of this. I am not joking or making a joke of eating healthy. The problem is this guy's insane. It's the snorting the coke. It's his wife. I mean, this is real, killing herself because of all the dalliances he had and the diary of it. It is the whale head. It's this guy is crazy, and it's
so Amy. Oh, yes. The natural conclusion, of course, is we should put him in charge of health and human services, right? We should put him in charge of the organization that is in charge of our health as a nation.
The only text whole milk.
Because
and then it says make America healthy again.
I don't know what the whole milk thing is now. Like whole milk is better for you. Unpasteurized milk is better for you, which hey, by all means, if you want to, you go right ahead. You drink the unpasteurized stuff. Best of luck to you. I bid you adieu. Have a great time. But I don't know what this is with the whole milk and the beef tallow and this weird. It's all influencer weird
and like
stuff.
I said,
it's all this crap.
Some of it is literally legit. Like I like whole milk.
Yeah,
it's fine, and the beef tallow can be great. It is really nice on your skin. You put it on your face.
Okay.
Okay. But just because somebody is right about a few things, it doesn't mean that they should be in charge of an entire department.
That's correct.
And it also means that
correct.
You can be right about a couple of things. I was going to there's been some really bad people in this world who are very big on exercise. I'm not going to make any comparisons, but think of all the autocrats. Actually, think of a current autocrat who always takes his shirt off and rides a horse.
Oh, Vlad?
Yes.
He loves that.
Vlad.
I love it.
You know what? Vlad exercises and so do I. It doesn't mean Vlad and I are really on the same playing field when it comes to ideology and approach to how a country should be run.
If you ask ChatGPT if it's better to live in Missouri than Illinois, it will tell you absolutely. Unless you ask it if it's better to live in Illinois than Missouri, then it will tell you, yes, that's better too. Two different answers from ChatGPT. And we're going to go through some of the reasons for both. Is it better to live in this state, Missouri, where we're broadcasting from, or the state of Illinois, our friends across the river? We'll discuss when we come back on KMOX.
Guys, Kevin Wheeler here for FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of KMOX and my official sportsbook for a lot of years now. And they just handed you the tool that makes every college hoops parlay worth more. It's called the Boost Builder. So here's the deal. You get a Boost Builder to use on any two-leg plus college parlay. So all you got to do is start building your college basketball combo, right? You add one leg, you add another, because every leg you add increases your boost all the way up to 105%. So you get to decide how far you want to take that boost. So just open the FanDuel app. You choose your college hoops markets, you apply your Boost Builder token, and then watch that percentage climb with every pick that you lock in. Head to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get started. And remember, you must be 21 or older and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Minimum two-leg parlay required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable Boost Builder tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amounts. You can see terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
It's sunny and beautiful, 65 degrees today. Breezy, otherwise just sunny and warm. A high of 72, close to the record set back in 1971. That high was 74 For tonight, a low of 46. Weather sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. 100 years. That's how long Overhead Door of St. Louis has been repairing and replacing garage doors. For same-day repair service and no extra charge for evening or Saturday service, schedule online at overheaddoorstlewis.com.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey guys, it's Dave from The Glover Show, trying to explain The Glover Show. So when I was a younger man, I used to go to happy hour almost every night, and I loved it. And I've always thought of my show as being like happy hour. It's always interesting. It's often silly, but not always. You know, there are real things to talk about. I am amongst friends, politics, and personal things. So that's what it is, really. It's happy hour for thousands of us every day between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. And I hope you'll tune in and join the happy hour.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new brick you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really helped me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-6623. 800-499-6623. 800-499-6623.
Rhino Shield is engineered to outlast paint by a lot, backed with our 25-year transferable warranty. Paint a house, shield a home. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, steel, aluminum, cedar, and more. We are the only coating company selected by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where all 3 episodes concentrate on unpainted brick. If you maintain or own a business with a tired-looking building, you owe it to yourself to look at Rhino Shield and our beautifully durable color schemes. Evaluations are free. We're making buildings pop and be noticed again, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks, exceeding expectations every day with our products, people, and performance. Now is the time to call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or go to 877-25rhino.com and see how honest and transparent we really are. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Considering buying or selling a home? When it comes to the Gelman team with eXp Realty, numbers don't lie. Over 1,500 Google and Zillow 5-star reviews, nearly 6,000 homes, and $2.5 billion in real estate sold. Call 314-336-1991, thegelmanteam.com.
It's men's Billikens basketball action Friday night as they face VCU. Pre-game 5:45, tip at 6 on your home for Billikens basketball. KMOX.
It's Chris and Amy on KMOX. And yes, depending on how you ask ChatGPT, it's going to tell you which state, Missouri or Illinois, is the best one to live in. Let's get to a quick call before we get to that here. And you can always chime in at 314-436-7900. Donna in St. Louis with us. Hello, Donna.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Talk to us.
I just wanted to comment on the measles.
Okay.
My mother had a slight case of the measles when she was pregnant with me, and I am visually impaired and legally blind because of it.
Because of the measles. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah, and that's what can happen. Was she, so I guess that would have been before the vaccine was available?
Yes, back in 1954.
Okay.
Well, thank you for calling and sharing that. We're very sorry. I mean, it's one reason why, like Ranj said, if you have a vaccine to keep people from getting the measles, this is something you can't avoid.
Yeah,
There's so much you can't avoid in life
right.
or prevent, but this you can.
And not
Thank
all
you
vaccines,
for calling in.
Yeah, we appreciate it. And not all vaccines work the same. Some are more effective than others, and some really take everybody to have gotten them in order for them to work better. I mean, actually, it's all vaccines. The more people who have taken them, the more effective it is. That's why we eradicated measles. It was gone.
Another texter did text in, born in 1951, my 74-year-old brother contracted polio, and it began to affect his back and legs. God bless Jonas Salk. He was given the vaccine and is perfectly fine now.
Yeah.
Again, Jonas Salk invented the polio vaccine. He said one positive unintended outcome to his brother having polio is that he stands ramrod straight and has one of the coolest walks you've ever seen.
We're going to need video of it. So take a video and send it to us.
Thank you for texting in. Yeah.
So we asked the question before we went to break, and there was a, ChatGPT, depending on how you prompt it or ask it questions, it seems to me, and maybe the Google Gemini is worse at this, but it seems that ChatGPT will give you whatever answer you're looking for. And I don't mean like the answer that you need. It's the answer that you really want to have. So if you say, is it better to live in Illinois than it is Missouri? It will find ways to tell you that, yes, it is better to live over there. So we gave it a prompt about which state was better to live in, or the reasons that each state was better to live in, like Missouri, for example.
Should I be Missouri and you be Illinois?
Okay, you be Missouri.
Okay.
And you tell me why it's better to live in your state than Illinois.
Okay, I can do that. Sure.
That's exactly how it sounds.
Sure. So these are 10 compelling reasons people choose to live in Missouri over Illinois. All ready?
Mm-hmm.
Number one, lower cost of living. Missouri is generally more affordable overall. Housing, groceries, utilities, and healthcare. Number two, lower property taxes. Interesting. Number three, cheaper housing. I'm sensing a trend here. Cheaper housing. Home prices in Missouri are often significantly lower. You can get more square footage, larger yards, and newer homes for the same price. Number four, lower income tax burden. Our income tax structure is generally lighter than Illinois. It might be nothing. 5, beautiful natural scenery. We've got that. The Ozark Mountains.
What, you never been to Carlisle Lake?
The Lake of the Ozarks. Dozens of state parks and rolling hills. It says Illinois is much flatter by comparison.
It is much flatter. That is true.
Okay, 6, less traffic outside major cities. True. 7, business-friendly environment. 8, strong outdoor hunting and hunting culture. 9, major city amenities without the Chicago prices, baby. You can get big city perks in Kansas City and St. Louis, including pro sports, big hospitals, and universities. That's true. And number 10, I feel like Illinois has this, but number 10, we have a central location. We're in the middle of the United States.
It's very similar. You're exactly right. Now, I don't think you can argue with most of those, but now let me give you Illinois, according to ChatGPT.
Sure.
10 strong reasons many people choose Illinois over Missouri. Now, when I give you these, I want you to think about them. Don't blurt it out yet, but I want you to think about them and think about what the theme is here. There's an underlying theme.
Because there was a theme in Missouri.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here's the theme. Number 1, access to a world-class global city, which is Chicago. That's what they're talking about.
Oh, I thought it was like Effingham.
It's not Effingham. I've been through Effingham, and it is not world-class, nor is it global. We love you, Effingham.
That's rude.
No, Grandma, I will not eat this Effingham. Number two, higher average salaries, especially in Chicago. Number 3, extensive public transportation. 4, stronger job market diversity. 5, Lake Michigan access.
Well,
6,
not our fault.
Large, well-ranked universities.
Okay.
Meaning U of I, Northwestern, University of Chicago. 7, more extensive commuter suburb options.
That is true.
8, stronger workers' protections and social policies. 9, major airports and travel access. And 10, cultural and entertainment depth. With the exception of 1 or 2 of those, what is the common denominator, or what are they talking about?
You get what you pay for.
No, they're talking about Chicago.
They are.
They're not talking about downstate Illinois.
No, they're not.
So there is a huge, and all of these things are true about, Yeah, you're going to get higher salaries. It costs more to live in Chicago, but you're going to get higher salaries up there. There's more cultural diversity. There's more public transportation. There's more commuter transportation out to the suburbs. But all of it, Lake Michigan access, you don't get any of that downstate Illinois.
Are you talking about, so they're not talking about Granite City?
No. I love Granite City. We have a steel mill.
So can I ask you this? Would all of this be true for Naperville? Right? Because you
Naperville's
can take
a suburb.
You can take a train.
Yeah, the metro.
So you don't have to live in downtown Chicago, but you could live in like Evanston or Naperville. And
yeah, Evanston's where Northwestern is, which is a really great university. It is a world-class university. So that's true, but it's like
it's all Chicago.
Downstate Illinois is, to me, very similar to going out west here. Like once you get out to
Wentzville.
Yeah. Or once you take 40 past all the why am I blanking on the actual town? No, past Chesterfield, past the valley. Once you get out there, that's kind of what a lot of downstate Illinois is.
So the thing is, the whole 10 reasons for Illinois were we have Chicago. We have this big city. And ultimately, you could boil down the 10 reasons about Missouri are we don't have a big city. That's why we're cheap.
Yes.
It really all comes down to Chicago when you think of both states. Obviously, much more direct, much more explicit in the Illinois argument. The Missouri argument is more implicit because you are saying it's cheap and there's no traffic and you can get houses and jobs because they're all available.
Yes.
Yeah.
This texter says, hey, you guys, Southern Illinois is not flat. Well, I'm talking like the part right across the river here. Because directly across the river, it's a little hilly when you get to Collinsville, and then you've got the bluffs up by Alton. Once you go south, like toward Carbondale, there's a little more, but right across the river is kind of flat.
Oh, my gosh, you're right. No, it's very, very flat right across the river. I ran a half marathon in a small town in Illinois, and it was one of the hilliest things I've ever run. It's the Tin Man. It's the one with the water tower. I'm blanking.
It's not. There's a Metropolis, Illinois, where Superman is. I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of it. Yeah.
I'm going to get it because it's going to Millstadt. Millstadt's hilly.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Millstadt's hilly. It was really fun. I highly recommend it.
We have a texter who says, and Illinois has a wider range of home prices. There's high and low. Speaking of high and low, I think there are more meth labs in Missouri.
You're darn right there are. You know, Highway 100, where Manchester turns into Highway 100 and then heads out into Franklin County. That's a little section we like to call Meth Row.
Love it.
When I grew up, I thought it was normal that when you got a speeding ticket that the police would, like, bend you over the car.
Whoa. Well, hello.
Hello.
I need to get pulled over more often.
Well, you know how they put their hands on the hood of the car?
Go on.
I can't do this.
Go on.
At any rate, I think there were a lot of drug busts is what I'm saying. Because it's like, wow, that person got a speeding ticket. And why are they all like handcuffed?
This isn't getting any...
It's getting kinky.
It's getting a lot hotter in here.
We told you we would make your day hotter.
Frank Ladd, producer Frank Ladd, has texted us and says Illinois is the second flattest state in the nation behind Florida. I don't know if that's true. I mean, I will take it as true.
Okay, Frank.
But if you drive up north on 55 or 57, yes, it is flat as hell. There's nothing going on.
Here's the thing. I trust Frank. But I have driven across the breadth of Kansas.
Kansas is pretty flat.
Kansas
How is Illinois?
Flat.
Frank
elevation?
Stands by it.
Because I will say this: when you're in Kansas, you do slowly go uphill from for 8 hours because you leave Kansas City and 8 hours later you're at about 3,000 feet of elevation, or 2,000 feet. But it's so flat, like Sinbad. Remember Sinbad?
Yeah,
Kansas is so flat, I watched my dog run away for 3 days.
Yes. Okay. Is that a joke of his?
Yeah.
I love Sinbad.
I do too.
I will have no bad words
yeah.
said about Sinbad. I'll tell you that right now. It is the Chris and Amy show, and we want you to check in with us, 314-436-7900. We hope you're having a fantastic day. And something that you should know is you can bet on the Olympics. I mean, maybe you're upset with the fact football season has been over for a couple of weeks. Baseball hasn't started yet, but betting the winter games on FanDuel is a great deal of fun. You've got game lines like hockey. There's hockey happening today. The Americans, the women's team plays for the gold medal coming up here too. I believe that's tomorrow, or is that today? But it is something that you can bet on FanDuel, and it gives you ways to stay connected to the action. The winter games, a ton of fun. You can bet curling. Maybe that's a thing that you're really into. Speed skating, hockey, of course, as I mentioned. All you have to do is go to FanDuel.com/Missouri and get started if you have not done it yet. FanDuel.com/Missouri. The app is easy to use and it is secure, so you don't have to worry about that. FanDuel, play your game. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Every spring brings promises, and every spring delivers surprises. This year, the Cardinals are writing a new story, and there'll be plenty of surprises. Matt Pauley is in Jupiter with inside access to Camp Cardinals.
Presented by St. Louis Composting. Composting, growing gardens and making memories. And Happy Roof. We always create happy endings.
From breakout performances to roster revelations, get reports throughout the day on the voice of the Cardinals. KMOX.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
Martin Luther King was killed by an assassin's bullet tonight.
From moment to memory.
It's a strike call! A no-hitter for Gibson!
Among those voices, Charlie Brennan.
Well, we've got lots to talk about, despite our listeners' letters to the contrary.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at Michael's Baths. Were you feeling a little embarrassed when the family came to visit for the holidays and all you could think about was your bathroom not quite being up to par? Now is the perfect time to plan ahead for a spring installation of a beautiful new bathroom. At Michael's Baths, we specialize in beautiful, safe bathroom remodels, from tub to shower conversions to full renovations, including paint and electrical work. Call 636-775-0800 or go to michaelsbaths.com. Mike is a great guy, does great work. That's michaelsbaths.com.
Attention business owners with a net income over $500,000. You need to work with a tax strategist that understands your entrepreneurial mindset. Download the most recent white paper written by E3 Consultants Group titled The Power of a Professional Tax Strategy Team. Go to e3wealth.com/radio to obtain a copy. It's time to learn about wealth and tax strategies that protect your personal and business economy. E3 is ready to help you think differently about your finances. Educate, empower, enlighten. That's the E3 difference.
Chris and Amy now. The Dave Glover Show at 1 on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
You know how, well, Americans and Congress, they're always debating daylight savings time and what we should do. Most of the daylight savings time related bills in Congress have tended to focus on, locking the clocks an hour ahead of standard time. But there's a new proposal from Representative Greg Steube out of Florida. He wants us to slide the clocks forward a half an hour. Split
All
the
right,
difference.
explain this.
Just split the difference.
Split the difference.
So
we don't have to compromise on everything, do we?
So he said basically we would slide the clocks forward a half an hour and end the twice annual clock changes. He says losing a half hour of sleep would be less harmful than losing a whole hour, although some experts say that setting our clocks forward at all is less desirable for our health. So they're like, yeah, if we did it a half an hour, it wouldn't matter. It does still lead to fewer morning hours of daylight, however, and also there could be confusion of trying to sync schedules that are offset by half an hour.
Wouldn't this just be way more confusing? Like we're bumping it up. Everything
Wouldn't that mess us up for the rest of the world? Because we would be in a half an hour bump. So then you're watching the Olympics, right? And they're now a half an hour ahead.
Man, I can't.
Like,
look, I have a different.
If our whole country goes up a half an hour, no harm, no foul. But how do we interact with the rest of the world?
I have a tough time as it is with
know.
math. Mathematics is not my thing, Amy.
It is not.
I can't be doing all this. I can't be doing half hours then. I can't be adding stuff by 0.5.
Hey, we don't use the metric system or anything. Why stop there? Let's
Why do we
have our own time too?
Let's not.
We should set the clock forward by the equivalent of 2 school buses.
Yeah.
Wow. Or football fields.
Oh, football field.
Hey, maybe you did or didn't see this piece by Ed Nelson, who is a statistician, I suppose is the best way to describe him, but he's on a podcast with Professor Scott Galloway, who we have referenced him before, and he was the one who said that we should that young people should go out and drink more because they're not socializing enough, and that's one of the problems now is that younger people are just not hanging out with each other. They're isolating. But also Ed is kind of he's a statistician and he covers the economy and does a pretty good job of that. He was talking about artificial intelligence and wrote a newsletter yesterday about all the investment that's being done in AI. And this is probably a conversation that we can have at greater length. But he says the one question we are not asking the most that we should be asking is, what if nobody wants it? What if people don't want artificial intelligence? Forget about normal people. We're not talking about the tech savvy people.
Not Ivy League school people,
not people who work for Anthropic or Google. We're not talking about those people. But what if nobody wants it? Because he goes through some of the numbers. And with as much money that has been invested in this, there is a big gap between the amount of money invested and how much people not just want artificial intelligence, but even like it. Because the majority of people, according to the polling, hate artificial intelligence. They don't just not want it, they actively hate it. So will that change? And I think this is a very interesting conversation that we can have.
Let's get into that, at some point, because it's funny that we've all treated it as inevitable.
Yeah.
And we haven't talked about
and it feels like it's happening against our will. Yeah. And one of the points he makes before we hit the break here is that it's not like the internet. People were intrigued by the internet and all the possibilities of it, but this is something that's completely different and it just isn't popular yet. That's Amy Marks-Kors. I'm Chris Ranji, technology writer for the Washington Post, and this will serve as a great segue for us. Will Aramis will join us, and he has a piece about Anthropic, which is an AI company, and what it's getting into, and we will discuss that when we come back. We'll talk to Will on KMOX.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. My best advice to you when hiring a lawyer for your injury case is simple. If you know court personnel, ask them who they'd hire. They know. If you know an insurance adjuster, ask them. They know. And then ask them about us. Ask them about Morgan & Morgan. They know. I look forward to talking to you soon. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm for the people. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
I got you something extra special for Valentine's Day.
Yeah?
How does a blow and go sound?
I like it.
Great. Air Comfort Service will be here on Monday.
Wait, what?
Our attic insulation is in bad shape. Air Comfort Service heating and cooling and insulation can top off our insulation with blow and go and make our home more energy efficient. We can save up to 30% on our energy bills.
I love it when you talk savings to me.
Schedule your blow and go attic insulation from Air Comfort Service. Visit aircomfortservice.com/blow today.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Are you turning 65 or new to Medicare? Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
It is 10 o'clock. We've got sunshine and 64 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. The Environmental Protection Agency is being sued by a coalition of health and environmental groups. We get the latest from CBS News correspondent Jim Krasula.
The legal action challenges a decision by the EPA to rescind a 2009 government declaration that has been the basis for U.S. action to regulate greenhouse gas emissions. The 2009 document said that carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases threaten public health and welfare.
The Obama-era finding is the legal underpinning of nearly all climate regulations under the Clean Air Act. The Trump administration, meanwhile, appealing a ruling by a judge to return an exhibit on slavery that was removed from a park in Philadelphia. The needs are much greater than the revenue we have available. That's what St. Louis City Budget Director Paul Payne told the Citizens Advisory Committee for Capital Expenditures. City officials outlined about $460 million in total needs, with $226 million in critical infrastructure needs, but there's only about $49 million in annual funding to address any of it. According to the Business Journal, officials outlined significant deterioration in government buildings, including City Hall, where the roof leaks, bridge and streets that need funding to get federal grants, and several park and recreation facilities that have reached failure conditions. Payne told the committee they must weigh priorities given the limited funding. Democratic candidates have notched a series of wins in recent special elections around the country, some flipping seats in red districts by wide margins. But a new AP NORC poll finds views of the Democratic Party among the rank-and-file Democrats have not bounced back since President Trump's victory in 2024. AP correspondent Lindley Sanders says there is one issue where Democrats are strong. Separate polling shows that the Democrats are more frustrated with their party than the Republicans are with theirs. There is some good news for the Democrats in the AP NORC polling, however. In a year where healthcare is a top concern for many Americans,
the polling shows that Democrats are seen as the party that is better equipped to handle that issue.
Among frustrated Democrats, about 4 in 10 felt their party wasn't fighting hard enough against Trump. About 1 in 10 said there's a lack of good leadership or a cohesive agenda. Americans in general not thrilled with either party right now. About 1/4 of Americans have a negative view of both parties. Only 1 in 10 feels good about both. From the KMOX business desk, the U.S. Attorney's Office cracking down on several home health care companies. The owner of Bridgeton-based A&L Angels Home Healthcare, Danielle Green, pleading not guilty to 5 counts related to billing Missouri Medicaid almost $1.5 million for services never provided. Several of her associates also charged. Natavia Boyd Wells pleading guilty to 1 count of wire fraud. The U.S. Attorney's Office says the 41-year-old admits to submitting more than $200,000 in fraudulent reimbursement claims from her Touch of the Heart home health care to the Department of Veterans Affairs.
KMOX AccuWeather, mostly sunny, breezy, and warm the rest of today. The high 72, partly cloudy tonight, low 48, breezy and warm again tomorrow with a couple of thunderstorms in the afternoon, the high 70. From this League of Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather's John Feerick on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's sunny and 64. The weather sponsored by Financial and Tax Strategies. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Retirement shouldn't feel like balancing your checkbook while blindfolded. I'm Gary Goldberg, and my team helps you see the big picture so you can retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Because guessing is not a strategy. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is Wednesday. It is warm, and we are about to bring down your mood. I mean, I don't want to ruin your day.
Usually about this time.
It's about this time that we tend to do this.
We can only give you 1 good hour.
That's right.
And then it's time to piss you off.
We are going to do our best. But I read this piece in the Washington Post about an AI startup's plan to scan and dispose of millions of books. It's going to learn from these books and dispose of them. I don't think I've ever done this, but I'm going to read. Writer for the Washington Post. He writes, in early 2024, executives at artificial intelligence startup Anthropic is our effort to destructively scan all the books in the world, an internal planning document unsealed in legal filings last week said. We don't want it to be known that we are working on this. This made my stomach drop, and we've got a lot of questions, so we're thrilled to welcome in Will Oremus, the technology writer for the Washington Post. Will, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for your interest in the story.
Yeah, it sounds dystopian and horrific. I'm a book background, and it just made my stomach sick that this company, Anthropic, had spent tens of millions of dollars to acquire and, as you say, slice the spines off millions of books before scanning their pages. Can you tell us more? What is this process? What are they doing?
Yeah, so to back up just a second, all these wonderful, seemingly miraculous AI chatbots that people are using, whether it's ChatGPT from OpenAI or Gemini from Google, or in this case, Claude from Anthropic, which is the startup that's the focus of this story, are backed up by incredible, ungodly amounts of training data. And what that means is that in order for these chatbots to learn how to talk to you, they have to basically hoover up just untold amounts of information. And that can be done by scanning the entire public internet. But Anthropic, a few years back, was worried that that was going to result in the chatbots talking in Anthropic's words, low quality internet speak. So in order to build a chatbot that would be more literate, more erudite, they decided they needed to use books and scan millions of books and train their chatbot on those instead. And so they came up with this process whereby they would acquire bulk used books by the hundreds of thousands, by literal truckloads. And then they had a machine that would slice off the spines of the books so that all the pages would then be loose leaf, which made them easier to quickly scan, digitize, and use for training their model.
So what is before this piece, I didn't know that this was a thing. Yeah. I thought everything that AI was learning from was internet-based and didn't know this was even in the works. So is there there's a machine that scans this? Does it look like what does it look like? Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen the machine. The technology is not brand new. This has been around. In fact, in a way, it's an older way of doing this. So if your listeners have heard of Google Books, this was a project 20 years ago, more or less, by Google to try to scan all the world's books and digitize them, not for AI at the time, but in order to make them available online so people could search them and find stuff in them. And they used a different process that's slower, where you keep the books intact. And that's because they were borrowing books from libraries, and they didn't want to, obviously the libraries didn't want the books destroyed. That is a, maybe more humane way to do it to the books. The defenders of Anthropic would point out, look, these are bulk used books. We're not talking about rare books or first editions. These are books that, there's a chance that if nobody wants them, they go into the recycling bin one way or another anyway.
So the destruction of the books is not necessarily a feature, but it is an accepted flaw from Anthropic.
Well, Anthropic was willing to accept it, yes. Whether other people accept it or not, I don't know. But this may be a good time to point out that this project, as nefarious as it might sound, this was actually Anthropic's way of trying to do things in a more ethical or more legally defensible way than Anthropic and other companies had been scanning books before. So the way that allegedly Anthropic and other major AI companies, including Meta and Google and OpenAI, there are court cases against all of them by book authors alleging that they just went ahead and pirated books by the millions. They downloaded these things called shadow libraries from these sort of shady sites on dark corners of the internet where online pirates trade all kind of copyrighted material for free with each other. That employees of these giant tech companies, which are worth, trillions of dollars in some cases, went to these pirate sites to get millions of text, the already digitized text of millions of books for free. That's definitely more of a legal gray area. So Anthropic was trying to find, can we do something other than just pirating them that might be plausibly legal?
So the details of Project Panama, they emerged because of these other extant lawsuits regarding the shadow books. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it wasn't just about the shadow libraries. The lawsuits actually originally had another target. So the lawsuits by the book authors also argued that using their books without permission to train AI models was a violation of their copyright. But so far, a couple of court judges have rejected that argument. They've said that because the companies are taking these books and turning them into something else, they're turning them into an AI chatbot. They're not just copying the books to sell the books at a discount, that is actually known as fair use and that is okay under U.S. copyright law. Now, that is still an unsettled question. Other courts may have other opinions, but this part about the pirating of the books, that actually was sort of a secondary claim originally, but that's the one that Anthropic ended up getting in trouble for in this case. And that's also the part that Meta, which is the parent company of Facebook, is still facing a lawsuit over as well.
So Anthropic did release the new Claude model, which is supposed to be better at coding and, design and that sort of thing with computers. It's supposed to be better with that. And I think it brings up, at least for me and probably a lot of other observers, that it becomes more and more worrying by the day just how much artificial intelligence will be able to do, and then therefore kind of push people out of work, out of their professions. Is that, how much of a reality is that? And if it is a reality, which it seems like it is, how quickly could this happen where we could be in a situation where you've got all these people who are very, very rapidly out of work?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's one that's on everybody's mind. I'm not a macroeconomist, so I don't want to venture a guess as to how quickly that will happen or whether it will happen. I know that some economists will say that when disruptive innovation like AI comes along, it puts people out of work temporarily, but then it also creates new jobs, jobs learning to handle the AI and tell the AI what to do, et cetera. I don't have a strong opinion on how that will play out. I do know that a lot of people, particularly in creative fields, are feeling like this work that they poured their soul into, whether it's a novel or whether it's a screenplay, whether it's music or visual art, that is being sort of appropriated by these tech giants and turned into these machines that can kind of spit out imitations of the work that these creators did. And that really doesn't sit right with a lot of people. Now, whether the companies will get in trouble for any of this remains to be seen, because most of the laws that are on the books didn't anticipate this particular technology coming along.
You know, I want to ask you about your piece about David Green, the voice of NPR Morning Edition. But before we move on to that, just to kind of, I don't know, put too fine a point on it, I guess, but the decision, or perhaps the cavalier attitude of the CEOs, the leaders of these companies like Mark Zuckerberg, or the co-founder of Anthropic, Ben Mann, they knew they were breaking copyright laws and were just downloading these books saying, hey, we're going to do it now while we can. In your story, you mentioned that one internal email was approved after, quote, escalating to MZ, meaning Mark Zuckerberg. So they know exactly what they're doing, and they're like, we got to do it now while we can.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, yes, I think they will say something slightly different from that in court, but there are certainly indications in the court documents that they were aware that this was at the very least legally murky and could get them in trouble. And that, that in some cases there were decisions taken to go ahead and do it anyway. I can say that as a backdrop to this, these companies see themselves as being in this like existential race. I mean, all of us see the sort of, transformative potential of AI, but inside this world of the Silicon Valley tech companies, there are people who think that this is like the biggest invention in the history of humanity, and it's going to change the course of humanity forever. And so they see the stakes as being, as high as possible. And so they're, that may be used to justify cutting corners on whether it comes to ethics or the law.
Isn't that kind of the attitude with a lot of these tech folks? Is that they just feel like they are on the verge of creating the most important thing ever? I say that half jokingly, but that's
fair. Yeah.
It kind of seems that way, right? Because you've got people and there have been reports of people who have worked for OpenAI or Anthropic who have left their jobs because they're starting to feel like there's an ethical problem here. How pervasive is that, where people who are actually working for these companies feel like, wait a minute, we're going down a path we shouldn't go down?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to paint with too broad a brush. There are people in these companies that really care about trying to build products that are good for the world and trying to make sure that the products they build are not particularly harmful. I think there are also people inside and running these companies who mostly care about winning and about making the most money and getting the most power. I think it's a mix. I do think that, when it comes to AI, the fact that they see this as such a transformative technology, it's kind of like all the things that ordinary people care about can be sort of cast aside as, well, those are minor details compared to, building this technology that's going to change the course of history.
Well, you also had a piece in the Washington Post about David Green, so people may know his name. He's been on the voice of NPR's Morning Edition. He also hosts KCRW's podcast Left, Right, and Center. And according to your story, he had not heard of Notebook LM, which is Google's artificial intelligence tool that brings up podcasts on demand. And suddenly people were asking him, hey, is that your voice? And it wasn't his voice. What happened here?
Right. So this is another story of one of those individual creators that feels like their life's work was appropriated for one of these AI tools. So in 2023, Google came out with this tool called Notebook LM. I guess it was publicized in 2024. And this tool takes any document that you have and makes a podcast about it. So like, let's say you have to read, you're a lawyer and you have to read like an 80-page case brief. I'm not recommending this, to be clear, but maybe you're short on time. You have Google's tool make a podcast of it, and you get this like male voice and female voice sort of bantering about it and trying to pull out the most interesting parts. And you can listen to that while you're doing the dishes rather than reading the whole case brief. Again, this is not legal advice. but it is something that people do. So when some friends of this famous radio host, David Green, heard the voice, they were like, "Oh my God, that's David!" And so they got in touch with him and they said, "Hey, David, did you give your voice to Google to make this male podcast voice on their AI tool?" And he said, "No, what the heck are you talking about? What the heck are you talking about?" And he went to listen to it. And he said he was just dumbstruck. He was like, that's me. This sounds exactly like me. And he played it for his wife, and she thought the same thing. And, long story short, now he's suing Google over it.
I mean, your story also mentions political voice fakes like ChatGPT at one point resembling Scarlett Johansson or Taylor Swift with Le Creuset cookware. Is there any way to stop this?
Well, there are legislative proposals. There's legislation in some countries already outside the U.S. There are state laws in the works and federal bills that have been proposed that would give people, it would clarify people's rights over their own voices, likenesses, that sort of thing, in terms of having AI copy what you do and provide a replica of your voice or your face or that kind of thing. We do not have a federal law on it at this point. What we do have are longstanding state laws that give public figures certain rights to control how their images, how their likenesses and voices are used commercially. So, for instance, there was a famous court case a while back where the singer and actress Bette Midler sued Ford Motor Company for a commercial that had a voice that sounded just like hers. It wasn't actually hers, but she won the case anyway because everybody thought it was hers. So that's the law under which David Green is suing Google in California. He's saying, look, I understand this isn't literally my voice, but all these people who hear it think it's me, and you didn't ask me for permission, you didn't pay me, and so that's a violation of this state law.
It's just wild stuff, man. Will Aramis, technology writer for the Washington Post, thank you for your time and your reporting. It's all very good.
Hey, thanks so much for your interest, and good talking with you.
Thank you.
That's Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji. At 10:30, we'll be talking to Tamar Scher, who just got back from spring training in Florida. She was covering the Cardinals. Also, she's on the Billikens as well. Billikens took their second loss of the season last night. That's happening at 10:30. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Setting goals for retirement is one thing, but knowing how to achieve those goals is another.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different.
For tips on building a better nest egg, tune in to the All Financial Hour with host Steve All, Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX. You can also visit yourmoneymattersstl.com for more details.
Taking care of your health should be simple. And with the Neovitin monthly subscription, it finally is. Choose your doctor-formulated multivitamin and we'll deliver it straight to your door every month. No more running out, no more remembering to reorder, just consistent nutrition made easy. Plus, subscribers save 10% every month and can pause or cancel at any time. Visit neovitin.com and start your subscription today. Neovitin, trusted nutrition every day.
Larry Older here. Let me share Brian's story from Alabama, my mom's home state. He tells us after taking Relief Factor for just 3 weeks, at least 90% of my pain is gone. My pain had started to limit me at work and at home, and now I'm amazed at how much relief I've gotten, end of quote. These are Brian's own words, and they speak volumes about what Relief Factor can do for you. I've told you about my buddy Tom, an avid golfer out on the green almost every single day. He says without Relief Factor, he wouldn't be able to swing freely because of shoulder pain or back pain. But since taking it, he said he stayed active, comfortable, and confident in his swing. He is a scratch golfer. That's why I encourage you to try Relief Factor yourself and see what it can do for you. Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. 800-4RELIEF, 800 the number 4RELIEF, or go to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain? 800-4RELIEF, relieffactor.com.
Hey guys, Glover here from my friends at Universal Windows Direct. Hopefully after 25 years together, you trust me that I only represent good companies. Universal Windows Direct is great. They have a great deal for the DGS audience. Buy 2 windows, get 2 for free. 0% interest for 36 months so you can spread out your payments, same as cash. Also $500 off your your home improvement project. 314-334-2522 or visit universalwindowsdirect.com. Like you, me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
This is Harry Carey from the beautiful new Busch Memorial Stadium.
From moment to memory.
Cardinal football on the move.
Among those voices, Bob Hamilton.
When I was in high school, I decided I wanted to go to radio.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
The Missouri Valley Conference men's basketball tournament has been the showcase for buzzer beaters, madness, and championship glory. With nearly 5 decades of heart-racing excitement, it begins here at Enterprise Center. The 2026 State Farm MVC Tournament, presented by Credit Union One, Great Southern Bank, and SSM Health, tips off on March 5th through 8th. Celebrate 50 years of the Valley's postseason.
Just had a great conversation about artificial intelligence with Will Oramus with the Washington Post, who's written a couple of good pieces on it, actually written a lot about it. And text messages coming in, 314-436-7900. This text says, best case scenario, it, meaning AI, replaces everyone's job and leads to mass unemployment and civil discourse. Worst case, it fails. Trillions are burned and the U.S. economy torpedoes. The biggest bet in American history is being made by grifters and gamblers with an army of hype men and a God complex. And that is absolutely true, because you do have people like Zuckerberg and Altman and this Anthropic CEO, and his name's escaping me now, but all of them are just like, I am doing the most important thing in the history of mankind. When you're already thinking that way, and I get dreaming big, thinking big. Okay, I get it. It makes sense. You want to. That's how we make progress as a society. But there is a point where you've gone past that to, I am creating something that is making everybody better. And this is the most important invention in human history. That's when you're talking about having a God complex.
And I would say this. I am not convinced that they are all thinking. I think they tell themselves sometimes that they're making things better eventually. But
or they've convinced themselves of it.
Honest to goodness, believe that they view humanity as a giant experiment. And this is an experiment. What would happen? What about this? I do think there is a bit of a cavalier attitude towards, they've convinced themselves that their own creations are somehow inevitable, that it could be used for good. They know it could not be used for good, but they don't care. In the words of Mark Zuckerberg and the motto of Facebook at the beginning, move fast and break things, even if breaking things is humanity.
These are all these people are like Mr. Beast if they weren't dopes. You know what I mean? Because these are very smart people. And that guy, he's made crazy amounts of money with his channels, TikTok and YouTube and all that. He's made crazy amounts of money by experimenting with people. But these folks, like the Anthropic CEO, they are all just, it's like we are experimenting, but it's going to have real world consequences and probably bad ones down the road. And I don't think they think about that. And we had another texter who says, I'm not sure it helps if all the ethical people in AI decide to quit. And that's a big problem, because if we have at least some of those folks, maybe they can stem the tide a little bit of it getting out of hand. But if they all leave and you're just left with sycophants who can do whatever they want with nobody pushing back against them and keep pushing and pushing and pushing, that's not good either.
Yeah. I mean, if you lose the voice of reason, and we've seen what happens when you don't have somebody pushing back, some type of governing system by those who are willing to question or push back. Hey, Ron, I will say this because Willa Ramus brought up the podcasts and how you can have a podcast that summarizes podcasts because heaven forbid we need an attention span for anything. I watched a video from a prolific novelist, and he said as soon as he publishes a book, someone will use AI to publish a super shortened version of his book, and then those sell. For every book that he has, there is someone used an AI to shorten the version so people they don't have to read his actual writing. They can read a few pages and get the story and say, okay, this is what happened. And he's afraid that we are training people to have the shortest attention spans and also not even crave good literature anymore.
It makes me concerned that all we're going to be left with in 25 years is manual labor jobs for humans.
Yeah.
That everything else will be done.
Stuff.
And so all we'll be doing is serving as manual labor for our computer overlords, our artificial intelligence, the robots. We'll just be serving the robots. At least that's what it feels like. Well, that's a good thought. You want to how about you want to talk baseball instead?
Yeah. I wish we could talk to someone nice like Tamar Scher.
Okay, we'll do that next on KMOX.
Spring training is here, and Cardinals baseball is heating up in Jupiter as young talent and big expectations take the field. The Gas House Gang is talking Cardinals all day long. Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji, Bernie Nicholas. Smart takes, insightful analysis, real Redbird conversation, plus live reports from Camp Cardinals with Matt Pauley and Mike Claiborne. If it matters to Cards fans, it's on the Gas House Gang. Weekdays at noon on KMOX.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
It's gorgeous out there. Still a little breezy, 66 degrees, sunny and warm with the temperature approaching the record of 74. That was set back in 1971. The high we're looking at right around there, maybe 72 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 46. Weather sponsored by the U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America Free Concerts.
Don't miss the U.S. Air Force's Shades of Blue Jazz Ensemble, February 25th through March 4th. Enjoy big band swing, patriotic favorites, and more. Get free tickets and locations at afbandtix.org. That's afbandtix.org.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
If snow and cold has you thinking spring, why don't you do something constructive and call Chesterfield Fence and Deck? Let this be the year that you have that beautiful outdoor space that you've always wanted. Whether you're talking about a new deck, a patio, a pergola, they do all of it. And of course, fences as well, sunrooms, screen rooms. You can visit their beautiful showroom in the Chesterfield Valley. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best since 1968. All of their products are guaranteed by a 5-year labor warranty, comprehensive material warranties provided. They have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Now, if you're looking for the rock bottom cheapest price, Chesterfield Fence and Deck is not it. What they are is the company that guarantees their work and has been doing great work for 57 years. Quality work that will last for a long, long time. So you can enjoy your outdoor space for years to come. If you mention me, Debbie Monterey, they'll offer you 48 months interest-free financing. ChesterfieldFence.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-885-3100. 800-885-3100. 800-885-3100.
It's men's Billikens basketball action Friday night as they face VCU. Pre-game 5:45, tip at 6 on your home for Billikens basketball. KMOX.
Chris and Amy on KMOX, and it is just after 10:30. It's time to talk a little sports, shall we? I don't know where to start. I mean, the music says we should start with the Cardinals. I feel like we should start with the Billikens, though. Just because last night was a tough one on the road. They lose at Rhode Island. It is their first conference loss of the season, and we are joined now by Tamar Scher with KMOV and Matrix Midwest, who covers SLU basketball, and she is with us now on KMOX. Good morning, Tamar.
Good morning, you guys. I do get to cover the wonderful Billikens, who, let me just tell you right now, if you are storming the court against the Billikens, that means the Billikens are doing something right. They are the 18th ranked team in the country, and my initial thought is like, all right, they got a taste of some adversity. The honeymoon's over. How are you going to respond, man? But the fact that a court was stormed against the Billikens, I would say that's a pretty cool accomplishment, you guys.
Yeah, but I'd also like to criticize Rhode Island because that was a weak ass court storming last night. There were like 10 people. Should we go out there? I don't know. Should we? And the answer is no, you shouldn't go out there, but they did it anyway. And that was one of those games where they have started slow a lot this year, but they've overcome that pretty much every time. And this was that one time where it did bite them. They had an opportunity to tie the game, had a couple of 3-point opportunities and missed those with just a few seconds left to go. So that starting slow thing that Josh Schertz is always talking about, you all right over there, buddy? Matt Pajeski had an outburst and we don't know what's going on. We're gonna have to make sure that he's okay. But it's one of those times where it finally bit them, Tamar.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Do you want it to happen now or do you want it to happen in March? So, yes, they had an 18-game win streak. They've been obviously crushing it at home. They go on the road. They fall. Well, now it's kind of the situation where coach can turn to his players and say, I told you guys we can't start slow, and then it bit us now. Better to bite us now than later on down the stretch or in the conference tournament. You want to see a little bit of adversity here. Basketball is a tough game because there's a lot of games in the season. There is a lot of parity in college basketball in particular. So unfortunate that it had to come on February 17th that they do experience this adversity and loss, but I think the team's going to be better for it because now is the time that we're going to be able to talk to these players and say, okay, how do you bounce back? You got a massive game against VCU, which is a bitter rival. We saw what they did against Dayton. Now they have another opportunity to punch someone in the mouth because they're mad that they did what they did in Rhode Island. So I would argue that if you're going to lose, this is the time to do it so that you can bounce back, punch someone else in the mouth and show the world and the country how you can respond to adversity. Because to be honest with you guys, they haven't experienced any of that this season.
That is, I appreciate your optimistic viewpoint, Tamar. And I think what a lot of people, if they're watching the Billikens, the hope is, okay, that they have still put themselves in position if the conference tournament doesn't work out for them, they don't win it, that they still get an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament. How much does last night hurt their chances at that?
Well, like I said, I think it is how they respond. And that's going to be it's how they finish out this season. Because if you look at what this team has done so far in beating teams by 20-plus points, and that was kind of the norm, and now, like I said, they had this loss that on their resume now better than the end of February, beginning of March. I think this is the opportunity for them to build their resume and build their case. Now, this is a team that I understand has in the past, you've seen these glimpses of hope and optimism. This is a special team, though. This is a team that has depth. This is a team that has bought into this Josh Schertz program, this mindset. A lot of that has to do with the fact they were winning, and they have been able to energize crowds with their play, with their ability to rotate guys in and out for 5-6 minute bursts. Now, I don't think that this loss is detrimental if they come back and respond. I think we need to talk about the same conversation after this VCU game on Friday, because that's going to be the real test for me is, are they going to be so down on themselves? Are they too confident in themselves? But like, oh no, like that was just a fluke. We don't have to correct things. No, there's things to correct here. And it just depends on what they do after the fact.
Tamar, you just got back from spring training. Is that correct?
Yes, that was what I was going to say. My mind has been on the Cardinals this past week. And talk about optimism. They haven't lost a game yet, guys.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
On that perfect record. Well, I mean, I know we can all talk about the Cardinals and what expectations to have or not have this season, but I know those guys are down there ready to be competitive. What stood out to you from your time down there talking to all the guys as they get ready?
Well, I think one of the biggest questions that I was most looking forward to get answered was how you get leadership from a clubhouse that is as young as they are. Because in the past, although last year we thought it was going to be a rebuild, you still had Nolan Arenado on the roster. You still had Sonny Gray. You still had a Brendan Donovan who, of course, was that vocal leader and helped with that vibe together. But I think that this squad has really good young energy. You had a couple veterans on the pitching side of things. But for the most part, these are guys that have come up in the minors together, have been together through and through, and now they have the opportunity and the runway to see what they can do with a full season of this. There was a tease last year. Now this year, it's the real rebuild, the real opportunity to see where these guys go. These guys are super young, but I think there's a collective buy-in and energy to what's happening right now. And coming into camp, I will tell you, despite what the outside view is looking in, these guys are stoked to be together. There is energy. There is optimism. I said, of course, they haven't lost a game yet. It's spring training. You come into camp and everyone's super positive, optimistic, happy. But the fact of the matter is they added and built on a new facility. They have a new face of the franchise, of the organization in Chaim Bloom, and you got all these new, young, optimistic faces. I think it could be a recipe for success. Maybe we don't see the benefit, obviously, in 2026, but what about 27, 28, 29? I think they're building for the future. I think it could be something special.
It seems pretty foregone that JJ Weatherholt's going to make the team, even, unless something terrible happens in spring or he just looks awful, doesn't look right, whatever it might be. They've given him every opportunity to make the 26-man when this season starts, Tamar.
Yeah, and I was talking to Ozzie Smith. Ozzie Smith and Yadier Molina both reported to camp on that first day of full squad workouts. And I asked him, who are you most excited to see? And it was a quick answer, JJ Weatherholt. I think that JJ really has tapped into his personality as well, and he's gotten a little more confident, comfortable. He told me, I'm not expecting, I know that I still have to earn a spot. Well, I think that he's earned it. I think that you said it right, Chris. As long as he doesn't have a detrimental spring, that things don't turn, he's definitely going to be on that opening day lineup. And I think that what we saw that first day of camp, you're seeing Alec Burleson at first, you're seeing JJ Weatherholt at second base, you're seeing Mason Wynn, the Gold Glover at shortstop, and Nolan Gorman at third. So again, that is your first glimpse of what that could look like. I think that will be pretty much what we see opening day. But the fact of the matter is, they want to give these guys opportunity to run with. And I think JJ Weatherholt is the guy who has the largest opportunistic view when it comes to this camp, because I really do think he has the resume to be there. Texas League MVP last year, minor league player of the year for the Cardinals last year. And I don't see that slowing down anytime soon.
It seems more and more unlikely that Lars Nootbaar will be able to break camp with the team on the roster anyway because of his injury. Is that what it feels like to you? Does it seem that way, that he's just not going to be ready yet?
Yeah, and I think they were very open and honest. Chaim Bloom spoke about it that first day that he spoke to the media, and he said, we don't have a piece of equipment that Lars needs to be ready to come to camp on time. So he stayed and that's just because they have a new facility and they're still working out the quirks of being in a new building in place. So he's in Southern California continuing his rehab with that piece of equipment. I mean, that being said, it's interesting, guys, because there's a lot of guys who have dealt with off-season surgeries. You talk about Lars Nootbaar. I think, of course, we will see him at some point. I don't know if it's going to be on opening day. It doesn't look very optimistic, but you're talking about Ivan Herrera had an elbow surgery to help deal with his pain in his elbow and also his mobility with his throwing arm. That hopefully, he says, will get him into more prime situations to be the catcher that he wants to be and wants to be for the St. Louis Cardinals. Mason Wynn also had an off-season surgery. He tore his meniscus. He had a Gold Glove year, and yet he still was disappointed in his offensive numbers. He says that repair will help him move better in the box offensively. He's feeling more confident. He walked out of surgery already feeling that way. So we talk about Lars Nootbaar, but I think there are a lot of guys in this roster, in this clubhouse right now, that dealt with off-season surgeries to help better them for this season. That's what Lars Nootbaar did. He recognized what was going on in his heels was preventing him from tapping into his full potential. So I'm hopeful that those three guys that I discussed will be primed and ready for 2026 because they dealt with what they needed to in the offseason to make sure that they were primed and ready for this season.
Tamar Scher, we appreciate you. Thanks for giving us some time today.
Thank you for chatting. Always love hanging out with you guys.
Tamar Scher, reporter, sports reporter for KMOV and Matrix Midwest, also at the anchor desk, and she covers SLU, covers the Cardinals. She's taking care of all of it, and she's one of our favorites. And you should be listening tonight to the City Spotlight from 6 until 8 o'clock. Yeah, that's right. City Spotlight from 6 until 8 with Jen C. She'll be broadcasting live from the City pop-up at the Foundry. So we know the City SC season is happening on Saturday. They get started Saturday afternoon at Energizer Park. This is a good way to get you ready for that. Carolyn Kindle will be on the show. Diego is going to be on. Corey Ray, Colin Rooney, Dale Schilly. City SC players will be there. So really looking forward to that broadcast tonight and the pop-up at City Foundry. Again, Jen C's broadcasting from 6 until 8 o'clock tonight. We also have tickets to give away to see Santana and the Doobie Brothers. Santana and the Doobies.
Have we given Doobie Brothers tickets away before?
Maybe. June
Maybe
20th.
this is the first time.
June 20th at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, Santana and the Doobie Brothers. We have a pair of tickets to give away, and we will do that before the show is over today. You must be listening for your chance to win. Also, speaking of city, I got a lot of alsos for you.
You do.
Joey
This is
Zanaboni.
A lot of work. A lot of clerical work right now.
A lot of work for me. Joey Zanaboni, who is the City SC broadcaster for Y98, will be joining us at 11 today. All right, now I'm done with the clerical stuff, and now I can tell you all about FanDuel.
More clerical.
Well, this isn't clerical. This is, well, I guess it's a little clerical. FanDuel has just given you the tool that makes every college hoops parlay worth more. It's called the Boost Builder, and here's how it works. You get a Boost Builder to use on any 2+ leg college basketball parlay. You start building your combo. So you have one leg, then you add another. You can add another on top of that if you want, because every leg you add increases your boost all the way up to 105%. You decide how far you want to take it. Just open your FanDuel app, choose your college hoops markets, you apply your Boost Builder token, and watch that percentage climb with every pick you lock in. And if you hit, you can hit big. How about that? FanDuel.com/Missouri to get started. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Minimum 2-leg parlay required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable Boost Builder tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amounts. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Barnes Jewish Hospital and WashU Medicine physicians have long been leaders in heart and vascular care. Now, we're taking the patient experience to another level by opening our new state-of-the-art patient tower, designed specifically with heart patients in mind. By combining the latest technology with thoughtful design and private rooms, heart patients can experience faster healing, reduce stress, and improved outcomes. Learn more at barnesjewish.org/heart.
When it comes to lighting, Graybar goes beyond parts and products. We help contractors turn plans into smart designs, manage kitting and deliverables, and navigate local codes so you can stay on time and on budget. Smart, scalable, job site ready. That's not just lighting. That's like kicking your project into Graybar mode. Yep, Graybar does that.
Is your furnace on its last legs? Don't wait for a cold night to find out. Jerry Kelly and KMOX are giving you the chance to win a brand new furnace this winter season. Just go online to KMOX.com/contest through March 1st and nominate someone who you think deserves a brand new furnace. Sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning. Win a brand new furnace. For more information and contest rules, just head to KMOX.com/contests.
Ready for instant curb appeal that comes with a 25-year transferable warranty? Call Rhino Shield today. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, aluminum, steel, cedar, and more. Over the past 20 years, we've done thousands of homes, businesses, churches, schools, condos, parking garages, large metal buildings, and strip malls, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks. We do flat and sloped metal roofs to extend their lives too. Proud to be veteran-owned and manufactured in the good old USA. So we're tariff-free. We're exceeding expectations every day. Evaluations are free. A+ rated with the BBB and a lot of 5-star Google reviews. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't hate, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Race car drivers like NASCAR champion Jesse Love are a lot like commercial drivers, pros, but even the best watch the tape to see what they missed and get better next time. The Samsara driving coach does the same for your fleet, giving drivers real-time feedback to build safer habits. Samsara's AI uses billions of miles of real driving data to help fleets prevent accidents and protect drivers.
If it makes me a better driver, it'll make your fleet unstoppable.
Because even champions need a coach. Learn more at samsara.com.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Hey.
What?
Hey. Amy, can we hold on?
Oh
Can
my
we talk
gosh.
about US and Canada right quick? Because the United States in hockey plays Canada women's.
Yes, but
Is that
okay,
tomorrow?
just if this is what we just talked about,
Yeah.
you two,
We're not going to name names.
yeah, you two just apprised me of the situation because I didn't know. So I just want to say I'm the victim here. I'm innocent.
You're the victim. So Matt and I heard, we saw it on social media, won't name names, but two of the players, one plays for Canada, one plays for the United States. They were a couple and they
Yeah.
just broke up. So that's the rumor out there. So now they're playing against each other.
Which makes it better. You don't want to break up
That's
with
a little-
your teammate. That's when, well, because if you break up with your teammate, now you've hurt the team.
Yeah.
And
And
probably,
then-
I bet their team are glad they broke up because if you are in love with the person across from you,
Yes.
you're not going to be able to play
what
very
if-
well.
So you brought up you can't date your line mates.
Well, that
because
was
what
the,
if you-
that was the rule. on
that was
the
a rule
team.
on your hockey team.
Yes.
You can't date your line mates. Okay, so
Because
but
if
then
you
you
have
just
a line that's working, and
you
it just
threw
makes
in-
it complicated.
I just need to say this. You
Yeah.
threw in that your coach says, all right, no dating line mates. You could date whoever you want. You could date. And then you throw in, you could date the referees if you want. And I was like, well, hold on.
He
Whoa,
didn't
whoa,
say
whoa,
that.
hold on.
He
Hold
didn't
on.
say that.
He didn't?
No.
Oh. But you could date the referees in your league.
Well,
That
this
seems
is
like a no-no.
Yes, and let me just say this: the referee dating, because
That's a conflict of interest.
A referee asked me
Don't-
out.
If you're a ref, don't you have to recuse yourself from a game that
You
your
would
lady?
think so. It was a
or-
tournament. It wasn't a league. So it was a league where you can't date your line mates. It was a tournament when the referee was like, "Hey," it was right before a face-off too. He's like, "Do you want to get drinks?" I was like, "What?
Yeah. Like now?
Now?"
Can we wait till the game's over?
And he blew the whistle and the face-off. He dropped the puck. But like,
The story's way better if your coach said you could date the refs if you want. You could date the other team, but you cannot date your own
you know what I
line
hate?
mate.
I hate when you make me laugh and you distract me because it makes bad radio. But I'm just like giggling right now, which is bad radio. But no, yes. On the
What are you
league,
blaming me for? Blaming me for your stay on topic.
because you
It's not my
bushwhacked
fault.
me.
I didn't.
You did.
You just said that your coach gave your team a directive
No,
that
yeah.
you couldn't date your teammates, but you could date the
know,
refs.
Technically, he said line mates. Because
Line
if you have
mates.
a line that's working and then you break up and you don't pass to the guy,
Yeah.
or pass to the girl, a 314 says, "Can you date the people in the penalty box?" Well, those people change.
No, I think I
Oh,
think
you
you're
mean
talking
the
about the
people that-
official
that
that's in the
offi-
penalty box.
Oh. I actually played with one of the officials in the penalty box. She was on my team. We couldn't date. No.
Well,
No.
I feel like you should be able to. That's a great. If you're the penalty box person, what a great place to pick somebody up. Like, hey,
Hey, I know this is a
got 2
bad
minutes.
time.
I got 2 minutes. Let me give you my pitch. Oh wait, thank God,
Yeah.
it's a double major. I have more
Yeah.
time.
No, the referee, he asked me out in a tournament, but with the other team, my coach just had to tell certain people you can't date your line mates
Because they won't pass the puck to each other.
when they break up.
That's so funny. That is so funny. Hour 3 of the show is coming up. And yes, we have tickets for Santana and Doobie Brothers we'll give away. Got to be listening for your chance to win. Joey Zanaboni is the radio voice of City SC. Their season starts on Saturday, and he's got a new children's book out that he wants to tell us about. That is next on KMOX.
For 100 years, KMOX has been a part of St. Louis. Now, those moments live on, preserved, remastered, and ready to be heard again. Discover KMOX from the archives, a podcast featuring classic audio from a century of service.
Sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
The KMOX from the Archives podcast, available now at KMOX100.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today, and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, DRURY law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
It is 11 o'clock, and right now we've got sunshine and 65 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. Crews have pushed through mountainous wilderness in California near Lake Tahoe during a snowstorm to rescue 6 backcountry skiers who survived an avalanche but were trapped by snow and ice. 9 others from their group remain missing. In other skiing news, Michaela Schifrin's 8-year Olympic medal drought is over. The American skiing standout wins gold after 2 dominant runs that show why she's regarded by many as the greatest alpine skier of all time. A St. Louis County man sentenced to 90 months in jail for carjacking a 72-year-old. 25-year-old Kirk Hall and another man stole the BMW in July 2023. The victim had just parked in an apartment complex around 1 a.m. when she was ordered out by the other gunman. That man took off in the victim's car. Hall then followed in another car. He admitted back in November to that carjacking. A pair of Branson magicians are going to court to fight federal charges of sexual exploitation of children. Gary and Janine Carson are accused of coercing kids to perform sexual acts for photos and videos. The Carsons also performed in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand and have been on a number of TV shows like Masters of Illusion. Their court date was just set for August 10th. The town of Foxborough, Massachusetts, is doubling down on its threat to cancel the FIFA World Cup matches at Gillette Stadium if it doesn't receive the security money needed to host the event. The town refuses to grant the entertainment license until they have the money secured. Stephanie McGowan is a select board member.
The money has to be here. Everyone thinks, we have a football stadium in this town, but with that being said, we're a small town. We have 18,000 people.
During the meeting, the town said that major safety equipment still needs to be ordered. They are hosting 7 games.
Stephen Colbert not backing down from his public dispute with his CBS bosses over what he can air on his show, saying Tuesday night he was surprised by a network statement that denied Colbert had been told he couldn't air an interview with a Texas Senate candidate for fear of triggering an equal time rule by the FCC. CBS said its lawyers had only advised him he couldn't broadcast the interview, which aired on YouTube instead. Colbert said he was surprised Paramount, the parent of CBS, in his words, would not stand up to these bullies in the Trump administration. Julie Walker, New York.
From the KMOX Business Desk, the tax credits are paying off, according to new numbers from the Missouri Film Office. In 2025, the Motion Media Production Tax Credit Program authorized nearly $15.7 million in production incentives for 54 projects. Those projects resulted in $40.7 million in spending around the Show Me State that benefited cast and crew, as well as hundreds of Missouri vendors and small businesses. Besides that, the Missouri Film Office Director, Andrea Sporsic-Klund, says the word about Missouri is spreading.
Mostly sunny, breezy, and warm the rest of today. The high 72. Partly cloudy tonight, low 48. Breezy and warm for tomorrow. Thunderstorm in the area in the afternoon, high near 70. From the Sliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist John Feerick on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's sunny and 65 degrees now. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
My best friend Jenny came over for coffee, said it's cold enough in here to play hockey. Well, my furnace broken, it's already late. Call Jerry Kelly because they're open till 8. JerryKelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on. Jerry Kelly.
One city, one voice. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Klaus pulls it back against two defenders. No, he swirls, he shoots, and scores! Oh, Joel Klaus! 73rd minute! City lead!
Way to go. Klaus is gone, and this is what you do?
Come on, Matt.
Come on, Matt.
Why don't you play as a
Matt's
Chris Carpenter highlight next time we do
no
training
kidding.
update?
Yeah, God. This guy, Todd Stottlemyre, what's he up to?
Or maybe Lance Lynn. We do keep resigning
Lance
that
Lynn,
guy.
right? They bring him back all the time. Well, that's the voice of Joey Zanaboni. You can hear the call of City, SC, soccer, or football, whatever you prefer, on Y98. And they will open the season Saturday afternoon, 1:30 is game time as they get ready or they will start the season. They play at Energizer Park, and we've got Joey Zanaboni with us, who has also written a book for kids called St. Louis Sports for Kids, Forever Lore in the 314. We're going to talk about this in a moment, Joey, but how you doing?
Chris, yeah, thanks for having me on, Amy. Great to be with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Klaus calls might not be as numerous this year, but...
well, hopefully there's zero.
Yeah,
still a
be
chance.
bad.
Yeah, 2 games against the Galaxy, right?
Right, so
Keep 'em
hopefully...
at 0.
Yeah, keep them at 0.
My excitement level might be slightly lower.
A little bit, like,
on that, if he does.
Can we get you to say, if he does score against City, can we get you to say, damn it, Klaus scored? Can you say that or no?
I think he can. Yeah, it's Y98. Right. So there's a little leeway on that. Yeah,
It's Y98. It's fine.
Obviously, you could say it on KMOX too, because I just did and I haven't been
bleeped out yet.
Not yet.
I'm always surprised
that I haven't gotten in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Joey, are you ready for the season? Just a couple of days away.
I count down the days, the hours, the minutes, and the seconds. Honestly, from game 34 last year all the way to now, it's been probably longer for me and Dale than anybody because we just love doing it. But yeah, it's going to be a competitive team this year. I think we're going to have some guys who can make an impact. New coach, new sporting director, new direction for the team, and yeah, some exciting stuff as well. 4 new restaurant partners plus the new kids, the Tina Turner inspiration. So yeah, it's off to a good start.
Do you know when the season is and when it will be next year? Because they changed it on you.
Just well, yeah, it's 14 games to start February of 2027. So it's the same start time and it's a sprint season. So I think it's supposed to be about 14, 15 games. And then we pause for the summer for the first time and get on the European schedule 2027, 2028. So that would be end of the summer, I guess, August to May. Yeah, 2028.
So this season, as you mentioned, we'll have a different look to it. New coach, new sporting director. You said, we know Carolyn Kindle a couple of seasons ago, or maybe it was prior to last season, said that we got to make the playoffs. And that didn't happen. And obviously that is the goal, is to get back to the playoffs. Can this version of the City team do it?
Well, when you look at last year, I think if we had flipped 3 results, I think we would have been in the playoffs. I think it was 41 points and City ended up at 32. Now, it's not quite as simple as that because I think we were unbeaten in 4 or 5 to end the season, and some of those came after we were already eliminated. But no, I think that this team is competitive. I think we've done a good job getting the player that I'm most excited about, which is Mamadou. Very good with LAFC, good offset pieces. He can score for you, a solid center back. And there's some other folks that I think are going to be able to make some contributions. I think for me, probably the player coming back that's going to be the biggest. I think Marcel Hartel's in for a huge season. I think when you look at what he did in Europe, and there was kind of a slow build as far as the statistical output went, I expect something similar. But he was the player of the year last year for City. He was awesome. Does a great job to set guys up. We need him to score in front of goal, and all the guys have to. Without Klaus, and just looking really at the numbers from last year, some of those results could have been flipped just by putting things in when they're at the face of goal. So get in, score the goals. I think it's a long season. It's not a sprint season. It's an 8-month season. And if this team can find a way when the struggles do come to just limit them and get out of slides and keep them to just 3 or 4 rather than having them swell to 5, 6, 7, 8, that's how you make the playoffs in MLS. And I think we have more veteran guys who understand that now.
Before we get to the book, I guess we should say the soccer showcase tonight at the City pop-up at the Foundry, 6 to 8 with Jen Cease, and you will be there, right?
I will actually be selling my book somewhere, but that's okay. I'll still be there in spirit. And Jen will be there and having fun as we celebrate the start of the season.
Where are you going to be? Is it an actual book signing? Are we like...
I'm going to be at St. Louis University High School. I've got a PA gig there. I have another life, doing PA announcing as well. So we have a little book sale that we've been planning on. It is my alma mater at Donnie Fieldhouse, and they need somebody who can be there and be the in the Slough 32. No, that kind of thing. Sebastian Tate, that kind of stuff.
Sebastian Tate, that's a great name.
That is. They call him Seabass. Shout out Sebastian
Tate. Dude, that's
Tate.
cool.
Oh,
Seabass is such
go pro.
a good nickname.
Seabass. I would
with
love
a
to be
name
called,
like that.
I would love to be called Seabass, even though my name is not quite.
We're not going to call you
like
that.
Seabass.
You've got to. Oh man, what can we call it? We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Okay, this book I'm holding in my hands. It's hefty. It's really nice. It's got a great cover. Kurt Warner, Arthur Ashe, Ozzie Smith, Vicky Sauerbrunn, Jordan Bennington, Jackie Joyner-Kersee. We have Adam Wainwright. St. Louis Sports for Kids, Forever Lore in the 314. This thing, though, it could be for adults. Like, it's a great overview, too. I mean, this could be a whole family book. It's not just for little kids, I would say.
Yeah, I think the adults, it's
coffee
more
table
excited.
book.
Yeah, almost more excited. Of course, when you're writing a children's book, the parents' credit card information is important as well. So you got to be able to appeal.
You got to appeal to the adults.
Both. It's just cool because it has so many memories that I think parents and grandparents can sit down with their kids and say, oh, I remember watching the Super Bowl, the 99 Rams, and I remember watching the McGuire home run chase. I remember watching Ozzie Smith's home run. Go crazy, folks. It's a great jumping off point for people to be able to share their own stories. So that was what was cool to me. It's 325 paragraph blurb vignettes about people, places, moments in St. Louis sports history. And hopefully it inspires hundreds and hundreds of more to get told.
What made you want to do it?
Well, it combines my three passions in life, which are St. Louis sports and literacy, and just growing up here and knowing some of the stories and wanting to know more was important to me. And Reedy Press approached me a couple of years ago about doing some sort of timeline about just places and moments and things from St. Louis sports history. So we've been working on it for a couple of years. Shout out to unbelievable local photographers, Justin Barr, Carrie Ogle, Derek Burgess, organizations like the St. Louis Chess Hall of Fame, St. Louis Chess Club, World Chess Hall of Fame for donating pictures for us to use. And, Chris, it just is one of those things when I look at literacy and society, I worry about that. I was a teacher, taught English and literature. And I just don't know that books are viewed the same way. And there was a statistic that I kind of stumbled across on social media that made me really think about this and really get me motivated for this. And it was from HarperCollins and Nielsen. And it said that only 40% of adults, parents, say they have fun reading to their children. And I just thought that's a huge problem. That's something that's affecting us right now. And I wanted to create something that both parents and children could be excited about, that they could share together. And that was very important to me. And hopefully it makes a small contribution toward making another literate society.
Well, another thing in addition to that is something that we just talked about. If it wasn't this week, it was last week, that there seems to be, and this is anecdotal, I guess, and maybe there's some numbers to back it up, but it seems that a lot of younger people, for whatever reason, and I think it's probably because we're so tied to phones and entertaining yourself, that a lot of younger people are not really aware of things that happened before them. They're just not really aware of history, sports history, or world history, or local history, whatever it is, music. They're just not as tied in, because it used to be when you were growing up, and you went through this too, you were exposed to things your parents liked or things your parents watch and listen to. And it's a little different now because you just got the phone. And so I would hope that something like this is, as you say, a small contribution to helping with that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think the sense of history has started to disappear from society, and we've pulled away some common threads. And it's just incumbent on us as adults and us as teachers and presenters and, even entertainers to be able to pass something along. And history can be entertaining. It can be really fun. And I think that's something that's in the book. There's a lot of quirky stories. I think about the 1911 Cardinals. It was a train wreck on and off the field. They weren't very good, but they came across a train wreck. I believe it was in Connecticut. And they actually rescued the passengers from the train, and they were big heroes. Stuff like that. I just love it. I just love those little anecdotes and vignettes, and it gives us an opportunity to explore some stories that maybe aren't always at the forefront. Amy, you mentioned Arthur Ashe, and that's something that we need to really keep alive here in St. Louis.
Yeah, we do not talk about Arthur Ashe nearly enough. And to that point, I don't care how much you know about St. Louis sports, how much we think we may know about St. Louis sports. This had to be an incredible amount of research to dig into all these stories, because it's not it's the scope, it's the breadth of all the sports, of all the athletes over the century or longer of St. Louis sports. So were there any nuggets that while you were researching this, you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that, or maybe I completely forgot?
Yeah, probably my favorite section is the corkball section, and it's just about how St. Louis invented the sport. And one thing I was not quite as aware of was I knew there were cages on the side of restaurants and bars and things here in St. Louis where they used to play corkball, and I didn't realize that actually went back to the USS Bunker Hill in World War II, where they wanted to play corkball on the ship. So they said, we'll build a cage so the ball doesn't fly off into the ocean. And I thought that was just wonderful, because I had so many great memories playing corkball and learning about corkball from my grandfather back in the day when I was a kid. And that was just something that was special to go and see, different photos of family and friends and things through the years playing it. So that was a big one for me, but there was so much I did not know. I did not know that much about chess. I did not know that much about the history of wrestling in St. Louis. I didn't know that much about auto racing and some of the NASCAR stuff and the dirt track racing and things like that have come through. And it just meant something to be able to go back and dig through that and learn on my own. And I'll tell you, there's always something more to learn. I think you'll appreciate this, Amy. I was at Afton Ice Rink over the weekend, and hockey parents, that's disposable income, right? So I went out there and said, I'll sell a few books. Hopefully I can set up a little table here, thanks to my guy, Todd Schlereth, director of operations down at Afton Ice Rink. And, I just set up my stuff, and this guy comes up to me and, he says, what's this? I said, it's a history of sports for kids, St. Louis. And he immediately just goes, I gotta get a copy of this for my kids. And he pulls out the money, and I had just set up, so I kind of had to scramble around and get some change. And I kind of looked back and I was like, why do I recognize this guy? Do I know this guy from somewhere? And I just said, are you from St. Louis? He goes, my wife's from St. Louis. She's from De Pere. I said, oh, okay. And I gave him his change. And he said, thanks, and walked away, got the book and walked away. And as soon as he walked by, somebody
I know who it is.
taps me on the shoulder and he goes, Hey, wasn't that Jim Montgomery, head coach of the St. Louis Blues?
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He's pretty recognizable.
And I said, well, as an author of St. Louis sports history, I probably should have known that, but he was my first customer. So I have a good story.
I have to
really
apologize to you because I should have given you a lot more credit. I thought you were talking about Gretzky. And I was like, Joey would know who Gretzky is for sure.
That's really funny.
Okay. So I apologize for that, Joey.
And I know we got a break here, but I will just say this is perfect timing because we were just having this conversation where I was running with a friend, not a kid, 31 years old. We run through the Grove, Bob Gibson Avenue.
Okay.
And she goes, "Who's Bob Gibson?"
Yeah.
And Tom
this is perfect for
Ackerman.
her.
Yeah,
She's
I'll give
30.
it to her.
She needs to read this.
He said someone on Twitter asked like who Ozzie Smith was. And and first of all, Ranj thought of some very punitive measures to take for these people. But we take it for granted that we all know who these people are, but the further we get away from them, the more we need to make sure we tell their stories.
Yeah, keeping those stories alive. It's a great way to do it. It's available through Reedy Press bookstores near you. And follow me on social media at Joey_Zana. I'll hand deliver a copy for you, just like I have for this show today.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Do we get to keep these? No.
I keep at least one of them, Amy. It's... I'll sign 3 autographs on one copy.
All right, that's perfect. We'll just rip the pages out. St. Louis Sports for Kids, Forever Lore in the 314. It is written by Joey Zanaboni, and you can hear him and Dale Schilly. The game is at 1:30, opener for the season. The City SC team will be taking on Charlotte. Let's go. Saturday on Y98. Joey, thank you. Congratulations on the book.
Let's go, City.
It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-959-3388. That's 800-959-3388.
You've got a big day, so you use Unstoppable Scent Boosters to give your laundry nonstop freshness. So no matter how long the day goes, you
can't stop this power, this walk, this pose, this strut, this look, this talk.
Your clothes will be so fresh you can confidently strut into that end of the day meeting like a
bosses. Let's talk business in my office.
Add new Unstoppable beads to your wash for 24-hour nonstop freshness so you can smell unstoppable.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at Amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Attention health and emergency professionals. When disaster strikes, communities need calm voices and skilled professionals ready to respond. That's why investing in your disaster behavioral health skills matters. Join us March 16th through 18th in Columbia for the Disaster Behavioral Health Conference. Learn practical tools, hear from expert speakers, and strengthen the skills people count on in times of crisis. Register today. Search Disaster Behavioral Health Conference, Missouri. Brought to you by the Department of Mental Health's Office of Disaster Services.
In 1991, John and Cindy Morelli started Morelli Tuck Pointing. As of today, they've won just about every award possible for the tuck pointing business. The BBB Torch Award, the Next Door Neighborhood Fave Award, and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. For homeowners, this is a great time to get a free inspection of your basement, your brick or stone fireplace, your garage interior, your porch, and maybe even your walkway. Indoor tuck pointing can be started now. Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. My wife Beth and I have used Morelli tuck pointing to work on 2 of our homes now over the last 25 years. We have found the Morelli bids to be fair. Their crews are very polite and they clean up after themselves. But most importantly, their work is beautiful. Family owned and operated since 1991. 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. We now have more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world. Protecting America. Fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
We were just talking about how people don't know history, and we were blaming it all on children. But it turns out it's not just children. It's not just kids these days.
It's the parents.
Well, are we going to blame our listener who emailed into the show? Because I don't want to blame. I don't know. Maybe I do.
He seems like a nice guy.
Maybe I do. And
I will say this, though, Ranj.
Yes.
For children, yes. Parents have a big responsibility, but once those children become adults, they're making their own decisions, and people can go off the rails as adults.
Well, it turns out that listener Steven has a couple of children who may have gone off the rails, but these are 40-year-old children.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's not our listener's fault.
So our listener Steven writes into us, to my shock, tonight, I discovered my 2 daughters, both in their early 40s, do not believe we were on the moon. I saw Apollo 11 physically lift off. We were vacationing across in Titusville, Florida, and I even taped it. The liftoff. I still have it. I think younger folks believe this didn't happen, as well as seeing and believing social media conspiracy theories. And they wanted us to sort of do an informal poll, and maybe we should. Maybe this should be our poll.
Question of the week?
Yeah, question of the week.
Did we land on the moon?
Did we land on the moon, yes or no? And you better know what the answer is, you idiots. So this is, I know this has been a thing for a long time. There's always been the conspiracy that we were never there, and that guy confronted Buzz Aldrin outside of a hotel, and Aldrin punched him right in the face. And I don't condone violence. Unless it's Buzz Aldrin punching you in the face because you confront him about a moon landing you think was fake, then you probably deserve to take one right in the grill. And so it is concerning to me. This is only one person in their anecdote and their 2 children who don't believe that this happened. But this cannot be a growing sentiment, can it? And if it is growing, please tell me it's not growing by a significant amount.
I don't know because, again, Jonah Goldberg always talks about how he's against monocausal explanations for things, that it's usually a confluence of several phenomenon or issues. And so I think when you have a society that's less and less literate, when you have, for the first time ever, American IQ in this next generation has gone down.
Yeah.
For the last 100 years, the IQ of the average American has continued to climb. It went backwards this time around for the first time in history. Kids can't read. They can't even watch movies. They're also, as a society, we're not interested in history. We can isolate ourselves so that our entertainment, the commercials, the music we listen to, the conversations we have are all specifically tailored to our myopic, self-centered interests. Why does this matter? Because maybe if you live in that world, you're like, meh, maybe we didn't land on the moon. Nothing's real anymore. And they don't care. They don't know the history. They don't know the astronauts. They don't know the names. They probably haven't watched the old-timey footage unless it was a 60-second
Well, they probably think it was a soundstage.
So, you know how Nicki Minaj has become a new MAGA figure inexplicably.
Yes.
She was on the Katie Miller podcast, who is the wife of Stephen Miller.
One of the worst people in the world.
Most likely one of the worst humans breathing air right now.
I mean, he's
a bad guy.
He hasn't killed anybody, but he's still kind of awful.
Yeah. At any rate, I was like, that's not political. That's just facts. No. He's just not a great guy.
Yeah.
But Nicki Minaj has been embraced by the right now, even though I would probably say her lyrics and the stuff that she would sing about, or maybe her lifestyle would not necessarily be traditionally embraced by the right.
I'm sure the people who are in love with her now 2 years ago thought she was a terrible person. I guarantee it.
Well, now that she was on the Katie Miller podcast, Katie Miller asked her if there's any conspiracy theories that Nicki Minaj believes are true. And Nicki Minaj said, I don't think we landed on the moon. Katie Miller seemed a bit surprised, didn't think she was going to go there. But
you didn't?
Yeah,
Okay.
I know.
That's exactly the kind of person who would think that.
She joins another beacon of intellectual accomplishment, Kim Kardashian, in her skepticism over the moon landing, because Kim Kardashian had also said that she thinks the moon landing was fake.
Oh, okay. This is just new. I would not be getting in line with Kim Kardashian and Nicki Minaj. We're not talking about the brightest crayons, you know? These are...
Not known for big brains?
This texter says, while the moon landing and takeoff are two different things, I don't think that theory is gaining acceptance. Yes, but if you saw the thing take off from the ground, if you saw the space shuttle, the rocket take off from the ground, where do you think it went with people in it?
It just floated. 314 says, my son, who is in his 40s, does not believe we landed on the moon either.
Okay, your son and these two daughters, not the brightest crayons either. You need to talk to them.
One pancake short of a stack.
Yeah, my God. Dr.
One
Adam
bean short of a burrito.
Dr. Adam Amari is a psychologist and research fellow at the Cato Institute. Will join us next. Just wrote a piece in the Washington Post about the autism epidemic and what it really means. We'll talk to Dr. Omari next on KMOX.
Spring training is here, and Cardinals baseball is heating up in Jupiter as young talent and big expectations take the field. The Gas House Gang is talking Cardinals all day long. Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji, Bernie Nicholas. Smart takes, insightful analysis, real Redbird conversation. Plus, live reports from Camp Cardinals with Matt Pauley and Mike Claiborne. If it matters to Cards fans, it's on the Gas House Gang. Weekdays at noon on KMOX. Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Currently at 69 degrees. We are getting closer to that record high of 74 set in 1971. The high they're saying is 72. Like I said, we're just a few degrees away from that. It's pretty sunny until tonight. A few clouds might roll in. A low of 46. Weather sponsored by Financial and Tax Strategies.
Retirement shouldn't feel like balancing a checkbook while blindfolded. I'm Gary Goldberg, and my team helps you see the big picture so you can retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Because guessing is not a strategy. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
Swing and a home run to left. The first major league home run for Albert Pujols.
Among those voices, Dan Deerdorf.
Good football town with a lot of good football fans, and they deserve better than to have both of our teams lead.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Jefferson Starship, the Runaway Again Tour. Saturday, September 26th, the Family Arena. Also featuring Atlanta Rhythm Section. Firefall. And Orleans. Reserve seats on sale now at the Carroll House Furniture Box Office at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. Jefferson Starship, featuring Atlanta Rhythm Section, Firefall, and Orleans.
Sawyer Brown. Some girls don't like boys like me. Oh, but some girls do. And Lone Star. Every little thing that you do. Baby, I'm a live Saturday, March 14th, the Family Arena. Get tickets now at the Carroll House Furniture box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. Don't miss Sawyer Brown and Lone Star together live.
In stock, on the lot, and ready to move. At Seidenstricker Nobe Partners, we have hot deals on select 1 through 4 Series John Deere compact tractors. Get 0% financing for 72 months, plus limited time savings on select compact tractors. Built for hauling, digging, grading, mowing, and anything in between. These deals are hot and they won't last long. Visit SNPartners.com. Seidenstricker Nobe, your partner for the land.
Offer valid through 2/28/2026. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Get this, 42% of baby boomers don't even know how much money they have in their nest egg. If you're not sure where you stand in terms of getting ready for retirement, you should be listening to the All Financial Hour with Steve All.
Let's sit down and talk about your questions, because I think that's the most important thing that it is out there. It's what questions do you have?
Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX.
The prizes alone are worth the trip at the 2026 Home Expo. One lucky attendee will win a red light therapy sauna from Aloha Pools and Spa, and many other prizes given away hourly. Hosted by the Home Builders and Remodelers Association, the expo features 175 plus booths, free admission, and free parking. Thanks to sponsors like Aloha Pools, Lacey Lumber, McCullough's Flooring, and Turf Shed. February 27th through March 1st at the Belle Claire Fairgrounds. Details at hbrmea.org.
It's men's Billikens basketball action Friday night as they face VCU. Pre-game 5:45, tip at 6 on your home for Billikens basketball. KMOX.
The numbers say that the rate of autism diagnoses have gone up quite a bit in the last 20 years. And as you may well know, there are a number of different reasons that are given to that. We were talking a lot about vaccines earlier in the show and how there is a theory out there that many people are peddling that vaccines cause autism. Well, Dr. Adam Amari is a psychologist and research fellow at the Cato Institute and wrote a piece in the Washington Post about the autism epidemic, and he calls it a myth. So we welcome in Dr. Amari with us on KMOX. Good to have you. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me on.
So just in reading your piece, basically what I am getting is that, yes, there is a higher rate of autism now, but the numbers don't say what they're actually saying. Is that a decent way to put it?
Yes. The Center for Disease Control, CDC data, reports over a 500% increase in autism prevalence in the last 20 years or so, from roughly 1 in 150 in 2000 to now 1 in 31.
So we have the 5-fold increase, but you also noted that a large-scale study that was published in December and also drew from CDC data that the dramatic rise of these autism diagnoses are driven by children with mild or no significant functional impairment. Can you kind of explain this difference in the rise of cases, but also seeing that the cases are less severe?
Exactly. And in fact, the severe cases during that same time period have decreased slightly. So autism, now it's officially termed autism spectrum disorder. It varies in severity. Decades ago, the only form of autism that was recognized is what we would now call profound autism. This is where you might see nonverbal behavior, severe impairments, can't function independently day to day. We also recognize that there are other forms of autism which might not necessarily be associated with impairment or intellectual disability. In fact, many autistic people, what we used to term Asperger's syndrome, are highly intelligent but have their deficits limited to the social domain. So that's one form. We might consider that high functioning or more mild. And as the spectrum has widened, so too have diagnoses gone up. Now, that's mostly a good thing. It means that we're catching more cases that previously went under the radar. But I argue in this piece that the diagnostic criteria have now expanded to become so loose that we're overdiagnosing and generating a lot of false positives.
Yeah, a really interesting paragraph from your piece in the Washington Post. You note that the rise in characteristics of autism comes not from, quote, gold standard in-person psychiatric assessments, but from parent-reported surveys, such as the Social Responsiveness Scale. And you note that the SRS, the Social Responsiveness Scale, includes statements like, would rather be alone than with others, or has difficulty making friends, or is regarded by other children as odd or weird. And then the parents respond, not true or almost always true, and so forth. So that polling does feel pretty loose for us for an official diagnosis.
Yes, exactly. These are behaviors that still might mean meaningful social impairments that ought to be addressed, and it's highly associated with autism, but you can score highly on these measures having social anxiety or even just introversion. And no doubt we're seeing large numbers of children, particularly post-pandemic, who were deprived of social interaction during those formative years that are scoring very highly on measures like these, and I argue being falsely diagnosed with autism.
So, Dr. Amari, if somebody does say to you, and I'm sure you hear this, whether it's people writing to you or telling you in person that, hey, the numbers, they're there. There is more autism now than there used to be. Something has to be going on here. What do you say to them?
Well, autism is largely genetic. It's over 80% heritable. It's one of the most heritable psychiatric conditions that there is, which means that we expect it to be stable in the population and stable in the gene pool. So there must be some true biological base rate in the population of how common autism is that we would expect to be relatively unchanged. Decades ago, we were almost certainly underdiagnosing. That means that expanding autism into a spectrum disorder and recognizing mild cases, recognizing Asperger's-like cases that are very high functioning is progress. But it's, in my opinion, extraordinarily unlikely that we've reached a point where 1 in 30 children are autistic, particularly when you look, again, at the diagnostic criteria, the fact that it's not this gold standard of hours-long in-person tests by a psychiatrist, but simply survey items that generate a risk score. And this is being used, unfortunately, in the CDC data itself. It makes sense why surveys are sometimes used as replacement measures. Often they're correlated with the gold standard interview techniques. And when you're trying to survey tens of thousands of people across the country, it's impractical to do the full day assessments in person. But my argument is that overdiagnosing in this case actually draws research attention and care away from autistic people who actually need more significant intervention and blurs our research focus and creates a narrative that rather than being a stable genetic disorder as it is, it has people start looking for what is contributing to this rapid rise. Is it environmental toxins? Is it in our food? Whatever the cause is, those are legitimate research questions when you see a new epidemic. But if you look closely at the data, this epidemic is almost certainly driven just by diagnostic drift.
You know, I know my experience, I get it, is anecdotal, so take it for what it's worth. But before I was in radio, I tutored kids, and a lot of times I tutored kids who maybe had issues, and they would say, well, I'm on this spectrum. They believe I might have autism, or I'm ADD, ADHD. And a lot of times my experience was I could sit down with them and you can diagnose, this is me, or guess pretty quickly, like, okay, this kid doesn't sleep at night. This kid lives on soda and junk food, or maybe there's not a lot of discipline and they've never been asked to sit down and read a book. So then when you ask them at the age of 12 to read a book, they can't do it. They've never done it before. And I feel like a lot of students, like we are over-diagnosing students with all of these issues, when sometimes it is just a lack of practice. They haven't exercised that muscle. Maybe discipline, maybe diet, maybe sleep, whatever it is. A host of things that would cause lack of attention or irritability.
Absolutely. Kids are facing a lot of challenges today, in large part due to unprecedented changes in technology, socialization, diet. All of those things can impact behavior in ways that we should be concerned about. But when you apply a diagnostic label like autism for something that is rare and genetic and requires a very specific standard of care, you're both detracting care from autistic people who need it, and you're not getting to the real root cause of these behavioral difficulties that we're seeing in children.
So because it seems like we do know more about autism and how to diagnose it, and maybe we are over-diagnosing it, are there other neurological or psychological disorders that maybe we are over-diagnosing now?
Yeah, we just mentioned ADHD.
That one.
That's almost certainly being overdiagnosed in young boys. And it makes sense that from an evolutionary perspective, we were not built to sit still in classrooms for 8 hours a day. So if we're seeing children who struggle with that and what we would call hyperactive, and yes, if they can sit still with medication, I mean, it depends what you're looking for. Are you looking for social engineering to force a particular outcome, or are you looking to tailor children's lives based on what is actually healthy for them, for their natural psychological development? That's what I think we should be doing.
Yeah, I feel super strongly about that as well. It's just not natural to force little kids, especially young boys, to just sit there all day. But what about the fact that sometimes it feels like we've lost the ability for someone to just be quirky and be, and have a goofy personality or whatever? Do you think sometimes in our society we are quick to ascribe some type of condition to really just the different personality types of people?
We are, and that's an unfortunate loss in general open-mindedness and appreciation for human diversity, which personality psychologists in particular really appreciate. In every trait that you can imagine, it does exist on a spectrum. You're going to have people that are extremely introverted, extremely extroverted, and everywhere in between. You see the same thing for aggression, creativity, conscientiousness, agreeableness, all these different psychological traits that can be measured. And neither is better or worse in all circumstances, even those that seem concerning, like aggression. It can be adaptive to have higher psychological aggressive dispositions insofar as it might make you more competitive and better at, say, sports, if you can channel your aggression in sports as a young competitive child. So all of these traits, they have different contexts in which they can thrive. And I think that if we pathologize something, including these traits that are associated with autism, like social deficits perhaps, but more niche intellectual interests, introversion, shyness, preferring to be alone, these kids also tend to be thoughtful. I think that these types of autistic spectrum traits are certainly overrepresented in my line of work in academic research. And I don't view that as an impairment whatsoever, even though I would have likely scored very highly on this social responsiveness scale, subclinically for autism, but high enough that in today's era of an expanded spectrum, it might have generated a false positive diagnosis. And then rather than seeing these unique personality attributes of myself as strengths that I can lean into an academic research career, it might have handicapped me and made me feel that something was wrong with me. So when we diagnose, yes, we should be looking for what difficulties are children facing and can we help them? But we also ought to recognize that a diagnosis is not a neutral, net positive form of help in every case. A diagnosis carries a certain burden, and we have to be very confident that being diagnosed with a label is going to do more good than harm. And I worry in many cases that might not be the case.
So as we say goodbye here with you mentioning that this is an ailment, I guess, that if you want to call it that is hereditary, that it is largely genetic. Does that then mean it is not caused by vaccines?
Certainly not. Vaccines have been repeatedly demonstrated to have no association with autism, no risk. These other hypotheses that are being generated, whether it's maternal Tylenol exposure or chemicals in our food, I don't know of any environmental inputs that increase risk for autism. That doesn't mean they're not there, but it does mean that being so highly genetic, we should expect this to be something innate, something that you're born with, and early intervention and detection is important, but any sort of fear-mongering of here's an epidemic, here are the likely external causes that are causing this, again, it detracts recognition that this is a genetic disorder that is likely to be with you lifelong. And what's really necessary is early detection and treatment and intervention, teaching these kids social skills, because it certainly works. The earlier you intervene, the more likely you're going to develop high-functioning, normal, productive life.
Dr. Adam Omari, psychologist and research fellow at the Cato Institute. We appreciate your time today. Thank you for talking with us.
Thank you.
That is Dr. Omari.
Really interesting.
Really
interesting conversation looking at all of that data.
Yeah, because it doesn't always say what you think it is, right? It's not telling us that there's just way more of it out there. We might be overdiagnosing it. It's very interesting. Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji on KMOX.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, let's talk about refinancings, and let's just bottom line this. Everyone needs money at some point in their life.
You know what, Dave? There's so many different ways you can make money. Number one, go to a lower rate. If you financed over the last 3 years, chances are you're paying a higher rate than what you can today. Refinance with the Bagel loan, no closing costs at all. That's number one. Number two, a lot of people are concerned not about the cash flow, but overall interest that you're paying. Go from a 30-year to a 20-year. The rates are lower on a 20-year versus a 30-year. Save hundreds of thousands of dollars. And third is the really easy way. You need cash. I need cash. Take cash out. Refinance now. Take the money you need. Keep the payment the same. It's easy. It's simple. All with no closing costs with that Bagel loan.
If you're looking to save money, get a little cash to your pocket, and do it with the right person, give Stewie a call or a text on his personal cell phone, 314-324-4440, or Google the Bagel loan, NMLS 226715.
Every spring brings promises, and every spring delivers surprises. This year, the Cardinals are writing a new story, and there will be plenty of surprises. Matt Pauley is in Jupiter with inside access to Camp Cardinals.
Presented by St. Louis Composting. Composting, growing gardens and making memories. And Happy Roof. We always create happy endings.
From breakout performances to roster revelations, get reports throughout the day on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
Join Mark Patrick Hypnosis. Lose the weight or stop smoking. Guaranteed only $59.99. Saturday, March 7th at the Residence Inn by Marriott, St. Louis Westport in St. Louis. Weight loss hypnosis starts at 11 a.m. Registration at 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking starts at 2 p.m. Registration 1:30 p.m.
Race car drivers like NASCAR champion Jesse Love are a lot like commercial drivers. Pros. But even the best watch the tape to see what they missed and get better next time. The Samsara driving coach does the same for your fleet, giving drivers real-time feedback to build safer habits. Samsara's AI uses billions of miles of real driving data to help fleets prevent accidents and protect drivers.
If it makes me a better driver, it'll make your fleet unstoppable.
Because even champions need a coach. Learn more at samsara.com.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Chris Ranji, Amy Marks Kors. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
We've got tickets to give away for Santana and the Doobie Brothers, June 20th at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. And we have a pair of tickets to give to you, brought to you by Live Nation. And we need caller number 6 to the contest line at 314-955-1120, 955-1120. Go ahead and give us a call, and hopefully you will win those tickets. If it's not today, we have more tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And then Friday.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
But this is your chance. Win those tickets. Good luck.
Hey, Janet is watching the show on the Facebook. Really nice message. Janet says, loved the autism report. I have a 23-year-old with autism. He is nonverbal and attends a Dayhab program. And awesome. Thank you for listening, for watching, Janet, and for chiming in. Yeah, it was a very, very interesting conversation about it. And as Dr. Omari said, that if you overdiagnose for people, for kids who are almost asymptomatic, like aren't showing any signs at all, sometimes that can take away resources from those
people who do need it,
who have, a more severe, maybe nonverbal, or it's like affecting their functioning.
And you just don't want to overtreat. You don't want to treat a problem that isn't a problem.
Yeah.
And we are clearly doing way too much of that. And so, and I get it, because the field is making advancements, psychology, neurology, all of these fields continue to progress and learn more and more. And they will get to a point where they get it right, where they know when to diagnose, but not to overdiagnose, because it clearly is a problem when they do. Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji will be back tomorrow. So if you have the Odyssey app on your phone, you can listen to the show live. You can listen to the podcast of the show. It's all there for you, iHeart app or wherever you get your podcast. But tomorrow, 9 o'clock, Amy and I will be back with you. Coming up next, though, it is going to be Tom Ackerman and me, Chris Ranji, for the Gas House Gang. We're going to talk to Brady Cook and Cody Schrader, both, remember, Mizzou football? They'll be joining us at 12:30 about their legacy camp. And we're going to check in with Matt Pauley from spring training as well. The Cardinals well underway. All that next. Gas House Gang coming up on KMOX. Severe disease, mild disease, medium disease.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by